15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
All right, I don't know how everyone else knows this, but somehow the Browns don't know this. Welcome to the show. Maggie Gray, Zach Gelb in for Perloff today. Final day with Zach Gelb, but we're going to have a really good time, although we do have to talk about the Browns quarterback situation, which is so confusing, Zach, and good morning to you. A couple things here. So the depth chart came out. After the first preseason game, Shedeur Sanders still fourth on the depth chart. So buried behind Joe Flacco, although we get that. Then two injured players, or hurt, maybe not injured, two hurt players, and Kenny Pickett and Dylan Gabriel, and then Shedeur. And what I'm hearing out of Cleveland is that maybe Shedeur has closed the gap on Dylan Gabriel, but damn, what do you have to do to get QB3 around there? And what I think is getting people a little upset about this or riled up or what have you is because I think the Browns don't understand a couple things. Number one, Shedeur's
quarterback.
Well, that's the Browns historic. Yeah, that's more than just Stefanski then, but fair. Shedeur's fan base is far beyond Cleveland. And the interest in Shedeur, this is not a local story. It's a national story because Shedeur and because of Deion and all of that. Secondly, the messaging on this has been way off from the beginning. So stop me if you've heard that before with the Browns. They said this was an open quarterback competition. Well, does it feel like an open quarterback competition? And then thirdly, I would say this. You know, the Browns, I guess, are the type of team that don't put a lot of stock into the preseason games. It's all about the practices, the joint practices, and what you see behind the scenes. Well, we don't see any of that. We don't get Shedeur in a meeting room. We don't get Shedeur in these, we're getting like dribs and drabs here. So the public can only go off the preseason game where he looked really good. So basically what I'm saying is the Browns feel like they've been botching this thing left and right because they are not sharing anything with the public, even though the public is demanding answers about why Shedeur keeps getting pushed down the depth chart.
Let me put my watch to the camera and just say this. Yeah. This is an illegitimate quarterback competition. We all know Joe Flacco is going to win it.
Yep.
I have zero problems with Joe Flacco winning it. But if you want to do what's in the best interest of your team, and I know it's only the 12th day of August in the year of 2025, and we're a month away from the start of the regular season, you cannot be starting or having as your second or third string quarterback Dylan Gabriel or Kenny Pickett. The only people that want to see Dylan Gabriel or Kenny Pickett are their relatives. Shedeur Sanders.
A lot of people in Oregon. Good morning, Oregon.
Yeah, you know what?
Good evening.
Oregon will quickly forget about Dylan Gabriel, if we're just going to be honest. They'll have 7,000 other quarterbacks, and they'll love them. And Dylan Gabriel, as good as he wasn't Marcus Mariota. But you look at Dylan Gabriel and also Kenny Pickett, they're not better than Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah.
And all I want is Shedeur to have a chance, and it should be based off of merit. And right now, Kenny Pickett's hurt. Dylan Gabriel's hurt. You talk about how we don't get to see a lot. Well, the reporters that do get to see things like Zach Jaxson and Dow Ryder, they've all said that Dylan Gabriel doesn't look like an NFL quarterback or anywhere close to being an NFL quarterback. So here would be my question. If I was a Cleveland Browns beat reporter, if I was in the locker room.
Or a fan.
Kevin Stefanski, I'd ask him straight up. Why isn't Shedeur Sanders, bare minimum, your second-string quarterback right now? And I would love to see the way that he stutters through that answer.
Yeah, it would be hard to defend. Again, I know they want Pickett to be a thing. They've wanted him. They went right after him in the offseason. They traded for Kenny Pickett. I mean, Howie Roseman of the Eagles strikes again. But they traded for Kenny Pickett, and the fact that he has basically just not been a factor in this quarterback competition, because I believe he's missed 8 11-on-11 sessions, and if you can't move around in 11-on-11, I'm sorry, the 7-on-7s don't really do a ton for me.
And I was listening to 92.3 The Fan in Cleveland because Ken Carman is always energetic.
Love
And
that
Ken
guy.
and Anthony Lima were screaming Super Bowl, Super Browns after the first preseason game performance from Shedeur Sanders.
Well, that seems like pretty level-headed.
Well, that's what they do always. A quarterback.
What does Vegas say? They give a 5-game win total.
A quarterback has a pulse, and those two guys, that's what they end up saying.
But I get it. That's how desperate they are.
But why I bring them up is Joe Thomas, I guess, does the preseason games for the Browns, and he was saying it doesn't even look like Kenny Pickett's going to be back this week.
Right.
So how can this guy be number 2 in the quarterback competition if he can't get his ass on the field?
Yeah, 888-710-4ISN if you want to weigh in, if you're frustrated about this as well. Because, again, Shedeur's fan base, and to be honest, it's like fans and haters, and just there's the whole mix of what makes Shedeur kind of interesting guy. You're looking at this from the outside going, how is this being labeled as a quarterback competition? And furthermore, a couple things. When you have a locker room full of guys and you are projected to win 5 games, right? Your win total is like 5.5. And, guys can say, oh, I don't read anything, or I don't check anything. And obviously they're not placing bets, hopefully, but they understand about where they are. You could have the Super Bowl champion in your division. And a lot of people believe the Ravens could and will finally break through this year. So you're desperate, you're down and out. You don't have a ton to play for outside of your own contract, yourself, whatever your motivation is. Then you see a guy who, when the lights come on and when the lights are bright, he's a gamer. Shouldn't that be rewarded in some way? What's the message to the rest of the team when you're seeing a guy who actually is producing? That was the preseason game, like the most perfect, this was not being sent to Canton. I get that. But a guy appointed himself well in a big spot, and that's not getting, like, air quotes, rewarded because the depth chart hasn't changed, and Shedeur can't beat or can't leapfrog 2 guys who can't move. Like, what does that send? How does that send the message to the rest of the locker room about what the Browns value?
I'll preface this by saying I'm in full agreement with you, but let me play devil's advocate here.
Sure.
There is a perception about Shedeur that he's brash, he's arrogant. I think it's ridiculous when people say he's not willing to put in the work. Is this maybe Cleveland testing Shedeur, where they look at it and they go, yeah, you probably should be the second string quarterback.
Yeah.
You obviously were on the field. You lit it up. But we're going to sit here on August 12th or August 11th, which was yesterday, and still put you at 4 to see how you react to it.
Right.
That's something that did cross my mind yesterday. Or even though it sounds like the two of us are freaking out about this, that was one point where I go, maybe that's what they're doing. That's the only justification I have.
Okay, well, I get that. You want to test your guys and make sure they actually who you thought. Well, that's what the pre-draft process is also for, right? You do your due diligence. You think you get to know a guy's character a little bit, and it was enough for them to select him. So clearly they were okay with whatever Shedeur was bringing to the table. In the draft process, there were a lot of stories out there, a lot of them coming from New York and from the Giants about how he was not good in the meeting room and felt a little too cool for school and all of that stuff. Well, you got to be comfortable with his character. So how many tests does he have to pass before you trust what your scouts and what your scouting department told you leading up to the draft?
But let's be real. The scouts didn't want him in Cleveland. The coach didn't want him in Cleveland. And the GM didn't want him in Cleveland. That's why I think
you might be right.
The 3 biggest voices here, Jimmy Haslam obviously is number 1.
Yeah, the owner.
And eventually he'll issue an edict to play Shedeur when the Browns stink because they're going to suck this year.
Right.
And then the other 2 biggest voices, Myles Garrett and Jerry Jeudy. And you talk about in the locker room, I've seen Jerry Jeudy say Shedeur's going to be special. I've seen Myles Garrett and Shedeur Sanders on the sideline in that preseason game, like playing around, having fun. If Myles Garrett and Jerry Jeudy, who probably have the most clout, Jerry Jeudy on offense and then Myles Garrett on defense for the Cleveland Browns, if they start using their platform or just doing it behind the scenes, hey, we got to play Shedeur, that may force the hand of Kevin Stefanski, who is a 2-time Coach of the Year award winner, but he is on the hot seat. And if you lose the locker room, you'll lose your job.
Yeah, I mean, he's facing all of that. I wonder for guys like Garrett, maybe Jeudy, do they actually just want to go with Flacco? Like veteran guys maybe want to go with veteran guys. No doubt. Can I just bring up one other thing? Because you brought up Stefanski. We're talking about Shedeur Sanders, who looked good in a preseason game on Friday night. Depth chart comes out Monday. No change. He's 4th. He's still buried. Not getting first-team reps. Got a few more reps yesterday in practice, and now we're tracking Browns practices like it's we're tracking Santa Claus's sleigh over the, going over the country. But here's the other thing.
Santa Claus's sleigh. Hold on. Is that what Myles Garrett and Shedeur Sanders are doing in the middle of the night with how fast they're driving? Just wondering.
Good God.
100 miles an hour for
Myles
Garrett.
Gets pulled over again after the preseason game for driving fast.
He's in lockstep with Shedeur Sanders.
Guys,
the two of them.
Whatever it is, it can wait. But the other part, too, about this is, and this is where you're right to mention the owner meddling and all of that with the Browns. The coaches, to me, don't get the benefit of the doubt. And I know Stefanski is the 2-time Coach of the Year. How he has half as many Coach of the Year awards as Bill Belichick, I think maybe there's something wrong with the award. Other guys who have won it, Matt Nagy, Brian Dable. A lot of times the voters actually like the newest person. They don't like Mike Tomlin doesn't win this award every year, even though he probably should. Andy Reid doesn't win the award. He probably should.
Two things. Fatigue. We see that all the time with these awards. Like LeBron James, I don't want to make this a whole LeBron James show, but he should have more MVPs than what he actually has.
Yeah.
And then also, I do think how you treat the media, which it shouldn't go this way, does play a factor in it.
Yeah, but is Stefanski that good with the media? He doesn't give him jack.
Yeah, but he's who hates Kevin Stefanski?
Well, people in Cleveland.
People hate Bill Belichick.
If he botches this, well, that's true.
They're going to read the MRI.
But here's what I'm trying to get at. I don't think the fans trust Stefanski because you held your nose with Deshaun Watson and you gave it a chance. And I know injuries really are the reason why Deshaun's not the starting quarterback for the Browns, but he didn't look great anyway. And the fans wanted him out anyway. So I think that there's just this sort of not Kevin Stefanski is going to go down in history as one of the great Browns coaches. I think it's all right, and you know what's going to happen. He's going to get fired, and they're going to bring in a new guy, and they're going to sell us on this guy, and it's going to be that same revolving door of BS that the Browns fans have come to just accept as part of their life.
Yeah, I don't think it's fair to really criticize Kevin Stefanski because 2 years ago, when Joe Flacco came off the couch, they were in the postseason. He showed you his coaching worth then. This organization made a massive gamble on Deshaun Watson, and it blew up in their face. So this guy has basically never had a consistent quarterback, and he's made the playoffs 2 times in Cleveland. So I think he's a good coach, but what you do in this league, it doesn't last long. And if the Browns have 4 or 5 wins this year, the only thing that may save Kevin Stefanski's job is that the owner likes Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski, and if they just listen, they'll be back next year because I think this organization, players don't tank, coaches don't tank, but front office executives and owners do.
Yeah.
And it feels as if they're punting on this season to set themselves up for next year with already having 2 first-round draft picks.
Yeah, maybe they told you exactly what was going to go on that first night of the draft when they make the trade with Jacksonville. But again... Which
is even more reason why they should give Shedeur a long leash this year and see if he could be the guy that a lot of us thought that he was going to be 2 weeks before the draft when almost everybody had him as a first-round pick.
How badly are the Browns botching this situation, or do you like it? Do you like the fact that they're going to tell you from their side of it, to be fair to the Browns, this is the plan. It's always been the plan. We're bringing him along slowly. This is ultimately going to be in his best interest. We're not giving him too much, and we're not, putting all these expectations on him when, he's not going to see the field at first. Maybe you like it. Maybe you like what the Browns are doing. Maybe it's the more prudent thing, but the messaging's off. It's weird. It sends a weird message to the locker room, I think, that you can work hard and you can be a gamer when the lights are brightest, and it doesn't mean diddly.
Just give me a yes or no here.
Yeah.
Joe Flacco, will he start week 1?
Yes.
Will Kenny Pickett be on the roster come week 1?
See, that's the one I'm wrestling with. My gut instinct is no.
I would agree. So then...
But Gabriel's got to get a little healthier.
So off of that, let's say Dylan Gabriel gets healthy.
Yeah.
Who is then listed as... If Kenny Pickett is traded to New Orleans or they just release him and they go, all right, Joe Flacco won the job, who's quarterback 2 for the Browns?
I actually think it's going to be Gabriel. I think they have this love of Gabriel, or they're in love with their depth chart, and it's just going to take heaven and earth to move it.
And I would love to do a contrived radio bit here and just disagree with you and yell at you. But I think you're right, and that shows why this is a fugazi quarterback competition.
Yeah, it's not real. 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. You want to weigh in on Shedeur Sanders? I know a lot of people bringing out a lot of I told you so's. We're right there with you. This was never a real quarterback competition.
But we're overreacting after one game. That's what I saw a lot in the comments yesterday. We're overreacting.
Yeah, I know. Heaven forbid.
I thought we were being fair.
I mean, heaven forbid we give the Browns a little hope.
You'll know when I overreact. Trust me.
You'll call it like a siren goes off.
Yeah.
Okay, coming up, we have the insiders, those guys and gals, the insiders in the NFL are telling us that things are further apart with Micah Parsons and the Cowboys than they've ever been. And a Cowboys legend has now weighed in on Jerry Jones. So we've got all of that for you. We've got 49ers updates for you. And so much to do, including an AP poll that came out yesterday that's ranking the top 25 college football programs in the country. And they got so much wrong. How are you this wrong? It's a preseason poll. It's all right there on paper. How do you get the paper poll wrong?
I don't really understand what you're saying.
Yeah. It's not even about Penn State. Whatever. They're fine. They're near the top.
One of those other fake schools that Manny roots for.
No,
one of those fake allegiances that he has.
I don't understand how these voters get that wrong. Anyway, we'll get to that. 888
You know, Arizona State last year was last in the Big 12. They were picked last in the Big 12.
And now they're not doing a media poll, which I get.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think it's all fun.
No, there are two, and I could stretch and say three schools that are not even in the top 25 that I guarantee you will end the season in the top 25.
Ooh, okay.
How about that? 888-710-4ISN.
They should have you vote. You know, I'm going to use this platform here for a second.
Yes.
We have Maggie freaking Gray right here to my right. The
That's my middle
Associated
name.
Press. And she is a respected talk show host and journalist. I'm not respected. All right? Give her an AP vote because the people that you have voting for this AP poll right now are embarrassing. They're a bunch of losers and they're embarrassing. Give Maggie a vote for crying out loud.
I'm shocked I am an idiot. I'm shocked I don't have a Heisman vote, to be honest.
Well, I do.
I want one.
Oh,
I'd eat the yellow snow.
Okay. you want to Venmo me? Just be careful on the captions.
Who keeps their Venmo public? Hey, okay, we got too much on the plate. We'll get to all of it. Meanwhile, Shedeur Sanders not moving on the depth chart. What do you got to do around here to, be third? He's fourth on the depth chart right now. We will get into the Cowboys as well. Maggie Perloff Show, Zach Gelb in for Pearl today. Football.
You're in a 5-minute break.
Head in the chat, that's Donald Rose, partner. Countdown starts now.
Donald Rose got that digital spunk. Cowboy boots on, sipping Red Bull in a bunk. Tecmo dreams back in 94, but the roommate's Vikings ran up the score. Billy said, you got game, my man. Been watched on fumble like a backup plan. Now he rides with M&B pride. Infinity Sports, he's the king of the ride. Down, Cowboy. Boots.
There's a storm rolling in on the pickleball court. Bailey showed up in jorts and a cut-off shirt. Pierre walked in with a monogram grip, talking about spinning angles and wrist flick tips. Daly just smirked, said, bless your heart, then served that ball like a moonshine dart. Pierre's got a name that belongs in Versailles, but he's getting schooled by a dude who eats fries. Daly just smirked, said, bless your heart, then served that ball like a moonshine dart. Pierre's got a name that belongs in Versailles, but he's getting schooled by a dude who eats fries. Daly's gonna wreck Pierre, say it loud. Gonna humble that paddle prince in front of the crowd. You can't beat grit with your country club flair, cause ain't nothing fancy about winning fair and square. So sip your latte, Pierre, sit in your chair, cause Daly's bringing smoke and he ain't gonna share. Pierre's wearing wristbands, got strategy charts. Daly's just playing with pure backwoods heart. He don't need top spin, he don't need grace, just a greasy breakfast and a steel game face. He dunks, he smashed that serve. Pierre backed off, didn't have the nerve. They say it's just a game, but not to Daly. He's playing for pride and a biscuit with gravy. Pierre sounds like a perfume. Daly sounds like a man who chops wood at noon. Daly's gonna wreck Pierre, want this day. That snooty spin shot's getting blown away. You bring your finesse, he'll bring the boom, and send that pickleball straight to your ballroom. So next time you serve, let's say a prayer, cause Daly's coming
2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
I want to just see if I can get out of it, though.
Bro, you a good kid. I don't want to have to hurt you, bro. we gonna need you, bro. We gonna need you.
You're listening to Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Zach Elbin for Perloff today. Welcome back to the show. That was Myles Garrett and Shedeur Sanders messing around. Shedeur saying, I want to know what it's like to, go against you. He goes, I don't want to hurt you. We're going to need you. Now, is that just something you say? It turned out to be like prophetic because they did need Shedeur to start the first preseason game because besides Snoop Huntley, and if unless you want to throw out 41-year-old Joe Flacco, there was no one to start the game.
I think they were talking about potentially drag racing in the middle of the night.
Oh, God.
That's what I think they were talking about.
Why can't everyone slow down?
100 miles per hour?
It's a lot.
That's a lot in a 60.
Well, I think also the car. So Myles Garrett got cited for a speeding ticket going 100 miles an hour after the first preseason game. Shedeur Sanders got 2 speeding tickets earlier this training camp. I think the cars they're driving, I think you tap on the gas. I'm not making excuses. I think these cars are so fancy. You tap on the gas and you're going 80.
Maggie Motorsports. I heard it's in the running right now.
Yeah, I'm really a car gal. Jason is in Louisville. Doesn't see what's so special about Shedeur Sanders. Good morning, Jason. How are you?
I'm doing well. So for like a year and a half, right, we've been told how great this kid is, kind of, right? Like that's been the talk kind of almost since he got to Colorado, maybe even a little bit before. When you go, and I realize that highlights are, not necessarily the whole story. They're not even close, really. But when you watch his highlights, a lot of them are really just great catches by Travis Hunter. And that's kind of an issue. Do I think he's good? Oh, absolutely. I mean,
yeah.
he wouldn't be there if he wasn't good enough to be there. Do I think he's special? No, I don't. I mean, when I look at next year's quarterback class, I mean, is he better than Lenoris Sellers? Not that I think Lenoris Sellers is great, but is he necessarily better than him? Like next year, there might be 5 quarterbacks that go into the draft that are already better than Shedeur Sanders.
Right.
Doesn't mean he's not good. Doesn't mean he can't make it.
Well, Jason, can I just bring one thing up, right? I kind of see this a little bit like people who apply to college, right? Doesn't matter really if you go to Harvard or if you go to junior college. Doesn't it matter what happens when you get there? You know, the bottom line is that the Browns did take Shedeur Sanders. It may have been later than we all thought, but he's there now. And then because of opportunities or people getting hurt, he had an opportunity to get on the field. And he played against some of the Panthers' starters on defense, and he looked pretty good. He looked like if he had been a first or a second round pick, I think it would have we wouldn't have batted an eyelash. So to me, is it about the hype at this point, or is it about what we are actually watching on the field?
I'll also push back to Jason, who just said, hey, the only thing that he really saw was Shedeur get a lot of great receptions from Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
That offensive line was trash for the last 2 years. He was running around. Sometimes he held onto the ball way too long. I get it. But he was running around for his life, and he was turning garbage into gold a lot. But to the point that Jason, I do agree with, I do think he's good. I don't think most people have been saying he's great. And there's a great separation between good and great. And is Lenoris Sellers better than Shedeur? He may have a higher ceiling, but I haven't seen it enough consistently yet from Lenoris Sellers, where Shedeur for 3 seasons, if you factor in Jackson State 2, maybe even 4, he has been consistently good on whatever level or whatever stop he's been.
888-710-4ISN. Quickly, let's hit the Cowboy Quickie, Manny. You know that music? It means time to check in on the Cowboys. So here's Adam Schefter yesterday, Pat McAfee's show. Give an update on the Micah Parsons Cowboys contract. And, you know, we think, we still have a month for the season. Well, we're kind of getting down here. Early Labor Day, guys. Here's Schefter. Says there have been no talks between Parsons and the Cowboys since the trade request a couple weeks ago.
Micah, I think it's unbelievable that statement came out about 10 days ago. And since that statement came out, there have been 0 contract talks between the Dallas Cowboys and Micah Parsons.
Okay, so what changed? Well, it looks like the trade request didn't go over so well in the building.
Now, you would think that something like that would trigger some conversation to get everybody, all sides, in one room to try to get a deal done. And in fact, it feels like it's done the opposite. It feels like Micah is disappointed and bothered by the way the Cowboys have done their business. It feels like the Cowboys are bothered and disappointed that Micah would make his feelings known like that, ask for a trade.
Okay, more from Schefter acknowledging the Cowboys don't know if Parsons will be there week 1.
Jerry Jones himself has said that he doesn't know and might not expect Micah to play in that opening game against the Eagles. And so now they're making no progress. They're not talking about a new deal. And unless things change, you have to wonder where this is going.
Okay, last one for you from Schefter. Says the Cowboys have said they don't want to trade him, but obviously now big questions because they're not talking.
The Cowboys have said
JC never called me back.
They're not interested in trading him. They're not. That's what they say. But at some point in time, if you're not going to sign the guy, then you're going to move the guy. There's 2 choices: sign him or trade him. And right now, they're not talking contract.
My dog.
And that is your Cowboy Quickie. So a lot there from Schefter. Mm-hmm. Both sides kind of being in their feelings, Zach. I think we can get past that once they actually get to the table. But the question is just who's going to blink first, because it's a you-know-what measuring contest right now. And Cowboys fans have to be like, well, you're playing in the season opener. It's a Thursday night. You don't have as much time as you may think you have.
Here's my prediction. And I may have to push it till next year after how this played publicly. But when this was pretty much a private manner and we just didn't know what was going to happen before the trade request, I said opening night, Jerry Jones going to come to an agreement with Micah Parsons to steal the Eagles' thunder when they're dropping a new banner and they just so happen to play the Cowboys. And 2 instances before where I've seen kind of the Cowboys do that, wild card weekend a few years ago, Eagles and Seahawks, and Jerry Jones announces, oh yeah, Jason Garrett isn't going to be back as the football coach. Last year, Dak Prescott, I was doing Sunday morning football on the network, and it was week 1, first NFL Sunday, and they dropped the Dak stuff. So I thought for a while that was going to be the target date, and this is how Jerry kind of operates his organization. He wants the drama. But the one part where now I have skepticism on that is just the blatant disrespect that Jerry has for Micah's agent.
Right.
And this isn't, Ace Bailey's agent. This is a highly reputable,
that was a pull.
Respected agent in David Malgoletta, or ever how you say the guy's last name. And Jerry's treating this guy as if he's not a certified agent, which is mind-boggling to me.
Yeah, but to be honest, the agent is the last person who should be in their feelings, because that's what the agent's for. You can't get tied up in an ego thing. If Jerry's saying, I don't know who you are, you've got to do what's best for your client and leave it at that.
But Jerry won't talk to the agent.
Right, well.
And Jerry goes, I had a handshake agreement. What is this, 1963? Like if I tell Manny, for example, hey, Manny, we have a handshake agreement. I'm going to give you $1,000 after the show.
Okay.
There's nothing that keeps me. There's nothing that keeps me from actually giving Manny the $1,000. Yeah, I shake your hand. Ready? Good. $1,000. And I'm going to be Micah Parsons. What's a handshake agreement?
Come on,
this
Zach.
year?
A handshake and looking a man in the eye used to mean something in this country.
Yeah, not anymore.
Gosh, darn it. Yeah, it's a mess. And the funny thing about you're saying if Jerry's kind of orchestrating this to steal some of the Eagles' shine from opening night, team's a 7-point underdog. I mean, come on.
But it's not beneath him to do that.
No, but you're going to go out there and get slaughtered. I mean, I took the points, but that's just me being a silly optimist.
But he's an antiquated human being. And when you're an antiquated human being, you live in the world of we need to be the main talking point on the pregame show. And the way you do that is you have either Micah Parsons have a pending contract issue, or you give the answer to the question that everyone is wondering on opening night, is he going to get the contract extension?
Sure.
I don't know his name.
So he's not going to practice then for another 2.5 weeks and go out there and tear an ACL.
And also remember, Dak Prescott, the Cowboys will be comfortable here waiting until next year, franchise tagging him and going through all this once again. I would be fascinated. I wonder if this GM called Jerry. What about Les Snead? I saw the Aaron Donald comment where Aaron Donald said he would come out of retirement if Micah Parsons, or at least think about it, if Micah Parsons got traded to the Rams. If I'm the Rams, I'm saying F those picks once again, and I'm offering 2 first-round picks for Micah Parsons. That means I get Micah Parsons with Fisk, with Verse, with Turner, with Young, and you get Aaron Donald back. Oh my, that'd be the best defense in the league.
Yeah, I'm kind of old school in this way. I don't like it when you make trades on teams you could see in the playoffs in your own conference.
Are you kidding me?
But I understand that's kind of me being stuck in my ways. You're
It's
gonna
not the Eagles or the Commanders, at least.
Fine.
It's not in your division.
Yeah, but still, this is a team in theory you're competing. You're competing with. Did it again. Did it again. Oh, man. Okay, so.
What, the cough?
Yeah.
That wasn't that bad.
No, Manny always is all.
Yeah, oh my
Excuse me.
God.
That was.
You need to see a doctor.
Get the puke cup.
That was the day after the Super. That was the Monday after the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's labeled February 10th.
I was sick.
Oof. That was a rough day.
Excuse me.
Maggie sat next to me at dinner at the Super Bowl, and she became ill the next day. I'll take blame for it, all right?
Zach, who knows what you're carrying. Let's get to Bogusch. He's got the latest headlines. Hey, Bogusch.
Good morning. Those headlines sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Your small business keeps you on the go. Progressive Commercial Insurance keeps your policy within reach with our easy-to-use mobile app. Learn more at progressivecommercial.com. You just openly drank alcohol. Wow. Let's see how they pin this one on ePay. Shohei Ohtani and his agent, Nez Balello, are being sued over a $240 million real estate development in Hawaii. The investor and the broker say Ohtani was only hired for promotional purposes, but then he and Balello tried to use their influence to get the two men off the project.
I'm sorry, what's that dollar amount?
$240 million real estate development.
And they're being sued for how much? You're not sure?
Not sure.
Okay.
That's like nothing to Ohtani, though, right?
What, $240 million?
No,
will turn your head.
I don't believe that they're
that's
requesting.
The deal.
Yes, that is how
being a little
big
sarcastic.
I was like, wait a minute, what? That's a lot of Ichiban to sell. That's crazy.
A lot of FanDuel bets too.
Oh man, he had to go there.
I heard it was DraftKings actually.
Mm-hmm.
Manny's favorite question, by the way, is what was he's always asking what the actual betting source is when it comes to these betting stories, right? Manny was like, "Oh, is it FanDuel? Is it DraftKings?"
Who is raising the red flags on this?
He wants to know the question about who's raising the red flags.
Well, the Ipe one we know because it wasn't FanDuel or DraftKings because that's illegal in California. The bookie got busted and turned on everybody.
I still have many questions as to who's raising these red flags.
Well, we know this one. This one, he sang like a canary. That one we know. But I'll give you it on the other guys, the Malik Beasleys and those other dudes.
Manny's just trying to find an angle where he could take away from the Dodgers beating his Yankees in the World Series.
That happened so long ago.
And
the
put an
Yankees
asterisk on it.
It was the most recent World Series.
Well, that's not wrong either.
Well, my question was Ipe involved in any way in the promotional stuff? Because that's not good.
Can you just pretend like Manny's not here for a second? Can we just have a conversation?
Yeah, sure.
His sports pain and the way that he broadcasts his sports pain, I find it highly entertaining.
Yeah, he's a madman.
But I also think he needs help a little bit.
Let's go next! Don't we all?
No.
Some more so than others, Manny.
Like Maggie,
Yes.
your Buffalo Bills
Yeah.
lose a playoff game to the Chiefs every year.
Yeah.
And you freak out and it's great content. But I'm not concerned about...
Great content. It's my mental health. I'm paying $200 an hour for that.
Yeah, you see, she gets it.
But here's the thing. Like, I'm not concerned about Maggie Gray than the mother. I know you're going to be a great mother.
Oh,
like,
you should see
You should be.
the treadmill videos.
Luckily, these are all primetime games and my kid's asleep.
But I'm Manny to be the babysitter.
I am legitimately
hired him.
concerned about Manny and his mental health when it comes to these sports teams.
Go to hell, Kansas City.
Way too personally.
That's about par for the course. We'll let you know if there's a problem.
Thank you, Margarita.
Back to you, Bo.
The Ohtani lawsuit, by the way, broke while Ohtani was swinging in Anaheim.
High and deep to right field. Back at the wall. Campero watches it fly. Shohei Ohtani's 100th career home run in the Big A. His 42nd of the season. He has gone deep in 3 straight games, and that spoils the shutout bid for the Angels.
Steven Nelson, Dodgers radio. Ohtani's latest long ball starting a 4-run 8th, but the Dodgers came up short, losing at the Angels 7-4. The Padres 4-1 winners in San Francisco, so they're now a game behind the Dodgers in the NL West. The Brewers getting a half game on the idle Cubs with a 7-1 decision over the Pirates. Their lead is now 6.5 games in the Central. The win streak up to 10 for Milwaukee.
Just a bit outside.
Maggie suggested he was a hypocrite last week. Cam Hayward apparently doesn't care, continuing his campaign for a new contract in Pittsburgh months after criticizing Aaron Rodgers' prolonged negotiations with the team.
I know what I bring to this team and what I'm capable of on and off the field. And so it's hard for me to, after the year I've had, to really justify playing at the number I'm playing at.
Hayward is coming off an all-pro season. He is currently 23rd among interior D linemen with an annual average value of $14.5 million. He did not rule out taking this hold-in into the regular season.
I mean, he's 36.
You know what? It's a great point that you bring up with him being a hypocrite. And, I'm a big Cam Hayward fan because my late grandfather back in the day did the surgery in New Jersey on Ironhead Hayward. And I once told that to Cam, and, we had like a little moment and all that stuff talking about his dad. But when you're saying, a month ago, you either want to be here or you don't.
In or out.
And now you're bitching about your own contract.
And now we might miss the opener? Yeah. I don't know.
Ooh.
Come on, Cam.
Pittsburgh has become just like every other organization.
Oh, yeah.
They like the way
Yes and no.
The dissension of what the Steeler way used to be to what they are now.
Don't be a freaking weirdo.
They are unrecognizable. They don't know how to take care of their vets. Their vets don't know how to be leaders. They're throwing victory parades for Aaron Rodgers at McAfee. They might as well be the Jets or the Cardinals or any other organization except that they can. We have a winning record. That's what we're about. I mean,
they have 6 Super Bowl rings. So
that's ancient history, Zach. But I'm talking about in this decade. I'm talking about in any recent memory. They're not even relevant when it comes to that kind of stuff.
You're not wrong in terms of the Steelers standard has fallen. But with that being said, as someone that has 6 championships, I know none of you can
When do you
relate.
leave again?
Wait, but hold on.
Everyone am I as insufferable in that seat? Is it the seat?
The tackles you were making out there, Zach, too. You were really laying it all on the line.
My grandpa did this. I won that. I saw this guy one time.
But
I ate in that restaurant. We get it.
It puts you in a penthouse, and you kind of feel numb. You feel numb, that the Patriots stink for 3 years. It doesn't really impact me. Like, I watch the games. Yeah, it sucks that they suck, but how can I actually get upset when I've won all those championships?
Well, you won a Super Bowl in 2019, didn't you? 2018-19, whatever that season when you beat the Rams. They haven't won a playoff game in 8 years.
Well aware, and I agree that the standard has fallen, but there's still going to be people in that fan base that go, they're still good. They're just not great. How could I be legitimately annoyed?
But you know what the problem is? That's how you become the Dallas Cowboys. This kind of behavior, this kind of mindset. Like,
but you said the Jets and the Cardinals. They're come on. Well, they'll never be the Jets or the Cardinals.
No, but this is clownery. The
Jets go play football for 200 more years. They won't have 6 Super Bowls.
Right, but a 36-year-old is talking about, I'm going to sit out week 1. And you're throwing victory praise for Aaron Rodgers? That sounds like the Jets. Trust me, I know.
They did have Le'Veon Bell miss an entire season, so they things were not always perfect there.
And they had Antonio Clown, too.
Right. I mean, they've had issues before.
But
I'm sure Big Ben huffed and puffed about stuff at one point. And I'm not saying they're not different now.
Some other serious stuff with Big Ben.
Well, right. But I'm talking about just football stuff.
But it feels like they're not able to overcome this the way they used to. Like, they used to be able to be honest, I would argue with Le'Veon and Antonio Brown, that was the beginning.
And that was a while ago.
Yeah, and that's a while ago now. Now we're kind of in a perpetual, which wide receiver is upset today? Which defensive player wants a contract?
But they still consistently, I can't believe I'm defending the Steelers. It makes me sick.
We do not care.
But they still consistently make the playoffs.
Right.
There's a lot of teams that would still love to be the Pittsburgh Steelers right now.
Yeah, but that's what gets the Steeler fans upset because that's not the standard that Mike Tomlin keeps talking about.
You're damn right it does.
You put yourself in this, the standards. Like, well, what happened to the standard? The standard's not, making the playoffs by the skin of your teeth and then losing badly in the first round. Anyway, Bogusch, thank you. 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Are the Steelers now just like everyone else? Is there any prestige, mystique, whatever you want to say, aura about the Steelers? Okay, coming up, you're welcome to weigh in on both Shedeur Sanders and the Cowboys, with Micah Parsons and the Cowboys, according to Schefter, farther apart on a contract than they've been at any point this offseason. And a big question about the San Francisco 49ers before we get to the AP poll. Lots to do. Glad you're with us here on this Tuesday Maggie and Perloff show with Zach Gelb in for Pearl.
You're in a 5-minute break.
Was set, the crowd poured in. Daly versus Rube, and we all smelled the wind. The band was tuned up, the mics were on, but old Peter Bellotti was nowhere to be found. We checked the lot twice. No car, no coffee, no bag of ice. Just an empty chair where he ought to be, while Daly served aces on live TV. Light never clocked in, not then, not now. While Daly was waiting in the crowd, yelled wow. The first set served to the last sweet swing. Bellotti missed the whole dang thing. Yeah, the lights were bright and the banjos played, but Bellotti took another workday holiday. The backhand sail, the crowd went wild. Daly high-fived every mom and child, but the victory song had a verse cut short, cause Bellotti still hadn't shown up to court. Maybe he's fishing, maybe he's asleep, maybe he's lost in the Costco meet, but one thing's sure, as the southern sun, Bellotti's work streak still stands at none. Bellotti never clocked in, not then, not now. While Daly was waiting in the crowd, yelled wow. The baseline grind to the trophy shine. Bellotti missed it for the 89th time. Yeah, the drinks got poured and the guitars played, but Bellotti took another workday holiday. Will the legends grow and about his great escape? He's Houdini with PTO drape. Some say he'll show when pigs take flight, but till then Pete's off every night. Bellotti never clocked in, not then, not now. While Daly was waiting in the crowd, yelled wow. The first line cheer to the final scene. Bellotti was gone like he's always been. to the man MIA. Malotti's taking one more workday holiday. Bailey's got the trophy. Malotti's got the day off again. Well, the sun came up on that old clay court. Rube strutted in like he owned the sport. Crowd was buzzing, saying this might be a rout. But old Daly walked in with his hat tipped down. That first serve cracked like a rifle shot. Rube swung wild and he missed by a lot. You could feel the tide start to turn into breeze. Daly just smiled and said, boy, you best believe. That first serve cracked like a rifle shot. Rube swung wild and he missed by a lot. You could feel the tide start to turn into breeze. Daly just smiled and said, boy, you best believe. When Rube got served in the heart of the South, Daly's forehand fire put the truth in his mouth. From the baseline battle to the net attack, every point scored, Rube just fell back. And somewhere Malotti's still sleeping and smirking, cause he ain't ever showing up for working. Traded shots in the heat of noon. Rube's face red as a harvest moon. Daly lobbed high and smashed down low, and the crowd yelled loud just to let Rube know this ain't your match, this ain't your day. Daly's here and he's here to stay. From the first serve ace to the final score, it's a victory song they'll sing forevermore. Rube got served in the heart of the South, Daly's forehand fire put the truth in his mouth. From the baseline battle to the net attack, every point scored, Rube just fell back. And Malotti, Lord, he's still out lurking, cause he ain't ever showing up for working. Now somewhere out there, Rube's hitting the wall, wondering how Daly won it all. The legends are born in matches like these, where grit meets glory in a southern breeze. Rube got served in the heart of the South, and his forehand fire put the truth in his mouth. From the baseline battle to the net attack, every point scored, Rube just fell back. Yeah, the crowd's still singing and the church bells ring. Daly's the champ, he's the king of the swing. And Mallotti, well, he's still not working. This in history, well, we're all out cheering. Daly took the trophy, Mallotti took the day off.
15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
This portion of the show is brought to you by Wesley Financial. Stuck in a timeshare and want out? Contact Wesley Financial Group now and get a free timeshare exit information kit at wesleyfinancialgroup.com. Welcome back to the show. Maggie Gray, Zach Gelbin for Pearl. Let's get to the 49ers, shall we? Because yesterday, Kyle Shanahan was talking to the media. Manny, I'll hear cut one, please. Updating the status of injured wide receiver Brandon Ayuk.
I kind of view all those guys around the same time, whether it's Mustafa, whether it's Rourke, or whether it's Brandon. They're all at different stages, but where they're at, I always see them around week 6, which means that could be week 10, means it could be week 5. But that's the area where I start thinking about it, which is a long ways away. I know it's not week 1 or anything like that, and so it's something I'm not really thinking about too much.
Okay, so if it is week 6, I know Kyle Shanahan there just said week 10. It could be week whatever. Week 6 puts you in mid-October. October 12th, that'd be Sunday at Tampa Bay. Then they're home for Atlanta at Houston at the New York Giants before they face the Rams. I think we kind of – I know EJ and I look at this very differently, Zach. I'm curious your take on the 49ers. They have a lot of injuries, but right now none have been like season-ending, knock on wood for them. You know, this doesn't feel like last season where everything that could go wrong did go wrong both on the field and off the field. To me, this is like you're getting back key pieces still in October with an easy schedule. There's plenty of time for the 49ers to be a factor, and I expect them to be a factor, whereas I know EJ sees this, not to put words in your mouth, but EJ sees this as like, here we go again with the 49ers injuries piling up. Do you see them as a sneaky sleeper or not even sneaky? or do you see them as another snake-bitten year?
I think they're going to win at least 10 games this year. And I look at the schedule. I think the schedule is easy peasy, but there's a ton of pressure on Brock Purdy. And I know that we all define pressure in different ways. Some people may say, well, he has all that money coming in, so who cares if he stinks? But with the uncertainty of the health and also the pieces that they lost this offseason, I need Brock Purdy to now be somewhat worth the money that they're actually paying him. And you look at the way that the schedule draws, if he can't win 10 games, then the 49ers' aura, their luster that they've had in this run would be over if they miss the playoffs in back-to-back seasons.
Wow, interesting. So it's the wide receiver, depth that's really taken a hit. So Ayuk's obviously going to be out for a while. Juwan Jennings, which we thought was a holdout, is a calf strain. They're saying it's kind of both, like it's a calf situation,
and
he wants his contract.
My back hurts, by the way.
Jordan Watkins was hurt yesterday, but obviously he's like a rookie, so I don't know how much you're really expecting from him anyway. And then Demarcus Robinson is waiting to see how the NFL is going to handle his appeal stemming from a DUI.
We should utilize this, by the way, at the end of the year when all of our contracts are up. Oh, my jaw hurts. I don't know if I can make it in today,
My
Dave.
vocal cords, I don't think they play that around here. But here's the other part where I'm looking at all the red on the 49ers depth chart. Red means injury. But you know who's not injured? Trent Williams is not injured. George Kittle is not injured. Christian McCaffrey's not injured. Brock Purdy's not injured. So, to me, no excuses here from the offense. Like, you have Ricky Pearsall. He's a whole year removed from, being shot and thankfully recovering from that. And, this is where you use McCaffrey a lot in the passing game. And Kittle is one of the great pass-catching tight ends maybe ever. I don't know, EJ, why do you feel like this is doom and gloom here for the 49ers?
Because you mentioned the guys that are healthy, and those are the old guys that are normally getting hurt, right? Maybe you want to take Kittle out of there, but McCaffrey, Trent Williams, like these are the guys I'm usually expecting to hear some kind of issue by week 4 or week 6 or week 8. And those are the guys that are healthy right now. And I don't know. I just think that there's a time.
You think they will get hurt?
I just think I'm one of those folks that when you look at old age and you look at injury history, you can't then pretend when they get hurt, oh, we couldn't have seen this coming. Like, one of the reasons why I was not on the Niners bandwagon last year was because I feel like they ran all out of their opportunities to get to that next level. They kept getting up to the mountaintop and falling short, and eventually that's going to come back to bite you, playing all those extra games, relying on these old veterans. They're in a weird situation now where they're trying to thread a needle of still having these veteran guys, but then trying to usher in a young, new group, and that comes with growing pains. And I agree with Zach. A lot of this is going to be on Brock Purdy. If Brock Purdy's going to play like an MVP candidate like he was 2 years ago, then yes, I think they can get into that 10-11 win range. But if there's any kind of setback or if there's any issue where he has to carry the team the way he did last season, that's where I wonder if you're looking at a Niners team that will once again fall short of their expectations.
The back end of this schedule from about Thanksgiving and on, at Arizona, the Panthers, at Cleveland, a really late bye week, Tennessee, at Indy, Chicago, and Seattle. So if you weather the storm early, this schedule in the second half of the season, they could go on one of those runs that we've seen the Niners go on where they're really hot in November and December leading into January.
Yeah, I guess I kind of think it could end up working out a little bit in their favor. Listen, if McCaffrey and Kittle are going to get hurt, and you're right.
You're screwed.
Well, and you're right that you can't say, well, we didn't see this coming. But I got to be honest, I kind of heard people say this about Buffalo last year. It's like, oh, you got rid of all these veterans and you're going to be relying on young guys. And they had the division wrapped up by Thanksgiving. Now, very, very different. You actually put everything on Josh Allen, the quarterback. You can't really do that with Purdy. But, it's not like the cupboard's going to be bare, I don't think, at all times. Like last year where all of a sudden it was like he's just got nobody. You're down to, fourth-string running backs and stuff like that.
And you look at the rest of the division. The Rams, I think, are going to be really good, but there's questions about Stafford's health right now, and we'll see how crazy that is in a month from now. And the Cardinals and the Seahawks, they're playing really for third place.
Yeah, not sure.
If either goes 9-8, would I be shocked? No, but am I thinking either of those teams win 10 games? So they're not bad teams, but I'm looking at it and I don't see outside of the Rams, really legit competition for the 49ers in this division.
Quickly, Rich, you got about 20 seconds, man. What do you think about the 49ers?
Well, everybody makes a big deal about the easy schedule. I simply might remind you that there's a whole bunch of brand new faces over there that are going to have to get integrated into that defensive setup. In fact, I believe the offensive line is the only unit that's intact.
Right.
So I'm not necessarily buying that they're a sleeper. It's going to take a while for that stuff to gel. And, meanwhile, they're playing NFL teams, all of which are capable of beating each other on any given Sunday, pun not intended.
Yeah, Rich, I get it, but, the one thing about the defense, and thank you so much for the call, still got Fred Warner in the middle, and he's looking really good, healthy. Nick Bosa, same. Whatever was going on with Bosa earlier in camp, he's fine now. Everything's worked out. And you got Robert Saleh coming back, who was a disaster as a head coach, but as
he's a good DC.
Defensive coordinator, the guy's going to work in the NFL for 25 years. He's going to coach forever. 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Okay, lots more to do, including we're going to tackle a quarterback carousel and who are the true blue bloods of college football.
You're in a 5-minute break.
Moria, you took the trophy, Bellotti took the day off. Oh, Shep had a vision. He thought he was grand, thought LeBron would pick up, thought he'd make a stand. But the Lakers saw his email and let out a sigh. Is this guy for real? He must be high. Did you think you'd book the king on your weekend overnight thing? Bro, he's got a ring.
Daily was waiting by that glowing screen, hoping night shift crown would go to the king. Ship held it down night after night, with fire in his voice and truth in his mic. But the news came in like a cold hard slap. Pat Boyle's got it, felt like a trap. No shade on the kid, but let's be real, Shepard earned a late night deal. Now Shepard ain't sleeping and Daly's in tears. The Shepard maniac's been loyal for years. We stayed up late, we rode every wave, but they gave it to Pat and dug Ship's grave. So we howl at the moon and curse at the sky, asking one question: why, oh why, oh why? Meanwhile, Bellotti still don't show up for work. No call, no text, just gone with a smirk. Yet Ship clocked in through the thick and the thin. Rain or shine, he'd always check in. Infinity, you broke our trust. We wanted Shep and that's a must. You picked a Boyle, but we needed flame. Now the overnights just won't be the same. Yeah, Shep, it ain't sleeping, we're twisted with rage. You skipped the vet for the new kid on stage. From the Bronx to the burbs, we're standing tall. Shep, a maniac's answer every call. So crank up the static, let the record show. There's only one man for that late night blow. Pat's got the slot, but it don't feel right, 'cause Shep ain't sleeping, not tonight. That ain't sleeping. What's Wednesday? Still ghosting.
One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds.
Pine Needles wakes up at dawn. Coffee brewing screen
Break
turned
ends
on.
in
He's
5
got
seconds.
a favorite show to see. The Maggie and Perloff Symphony. Oh, Pine Needles are turning tight to infinity. Sports radio every night. Maggie and Perloff, your daily delight.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Dive into the AP poll for college football in just a moment. I have a lot of things I did not like about this AP poll, but first, Manny, let's talk quarterback, shall we?
It's great for the NFL that you have great quarterback play.
Finding the right quarterback can change your franchise forever.
Can you throw it like a quarterback, third in the line?
32 teams, each with just one signal caller.
It's my quarterback.
Maggie and Perloff answer one big question about the quarterback.
Just realized I did not mention that Zach Gelb was in for Perloff today, so we get a little fresh perspective on these QBs. We're hitting one quarterback room every day leading up to kickoff of the NFL season, which will be the Eagles and the Cowboys. EJ, who are we tackling today?
All right, we're staying in Cleveland as we talk about the Cleveland
I'm a
Browns.
drop machine. That's what I realized.
So let's get to the Browns here. Is the Browns QB of the future in the building or in college?
The Browns quarterback of the future is not in the building.
Joe Flacco?
It ain't Joe Flacco. He's the current. No, he's not in the building. And, I hate to say that the Browns punted on an entire season, Zach, but it feels like they did because they traded with the Jacksonville Jaguars first day of the draft, first 20 minutes of the draft, got an extra first-round pick for next year. And to be honest, if this whole Shedeur Sanders quarterback competition was going a little differently, and by that I mean Shedeur plays well in a preseason game, yet he doesn't move at all on the depth chart, even though the guys in front of him are currently dealing with hamstring injuries. I just don't know. I don't think Shedeur can win this job. By the time he actually gets into games this regular season, I think the season's over. Who knows how many injuries or how many guys have checked out at that point? Who knows if the coaching staff is all about to get fired? I think you're throwing him into a situation that's just not set up for success. I don't see how he could look good. He'd have to overcome so much. So to me, no, the Browns quarterback of the future is not on the roster right now.
If their quarterback of the future is on the roster, it is Shedeur. I'll be abundantly clear on that. But I don't think that Shedeur is going to be their franchise quarterback because the coach doesn't want him. The GM doesn't want him. The owner does want him, but then the owner also signed off on getting a future first-round pick, and you had the Colin Cowherd stuff that was out there basically saying that the owner is already targeting Arch Manning and Nick Saban, even though Archie's saying that Arch isn't coming out next year. It does feel as if Cleveland were always talking about who is the next guy, who's the guy in the draft that they're going to go get. So I think I'd be nuts. I think you'd have to drug test me if I were to tell you right now at 7:03 a.m. Eastern time in the morning that the Browns quarterback is on the roster.
Well, the other part, too, is sometimes the Browns don't even know what they have. Like, you did have your quarterback of the future in the building. His name was Baker Mayfield. And you got so blinded by the possibility of Deshaun Watson, even though so many things were pointing to this is not going to work out. I mean, to be honest, like, I don't even think this is a hindsight thing. I mean, you have 21 people at the time were accusing him of all this, all this stuff. I just think you were You threw out the baby with the bathwater.
Oh, you thought you were getting a great quarterback. Like Baker, who has got better, and Baker, who was a good quarterback, they thought Deshaun was a great quarterback. And when Deshaun was in Houston, he was a top 7 quarterback in the league. I know it was last year there. The team was dreadful, but his stats were great. And we've seen that before in this league. You could have the most heinous things accused of you. And if you could be great, especially at that position, we're not talking about a kicker here. We're talking about a quarterback. If you're a great at a quarterback, they'll give you an ample amount of chances, even if you don't deserve them. And it kind of played out where Deshaun's body is now breaking down right in front of us. And that's why this thing ended up blowing up in their face. I actually got the move at the time, even though Deshaun, the person that we all thought we knew when he was at Clemson early stages of with the Texans, was the farthest thing from what we thought.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I would have said, just interviewing Deshaun a few times, like, he seemed like the person you'd wish that you could be friends with, or that your daughter would date or whatever. And it turns out, we just don't know these guys.
You would think such a safe prospect.
Yeah, but remember when Dabo Swinney called him the Michael Jordan of the NFL? But there were actually some other things there, right? Like, he had dealt with injuries, no doubt. And also, he basically just said no thank you to the team, to the Houston Texans. And I know he didn't like the owner and all of that, but he was like prepared to not play. There were just some other things going on with Deshaun. I thought that, it's not so shocking that this is where we got to.
Well, it was also crazy how Deshaun, he used to be a sympathetic figure because he had to deal with the tyrant that was Bill O'Brien. And the minute they traded DeAndre Hopkins, that's when you knew that he was going to force himself out of Houston. Yeah. And you're right, he was sitting out, and then all this stuff came out. And then it was, okay, now everyone turned on Deshaun, and deservedly so.
So we're asking, is the Browns quarterback of the future in the building?
Wait until he gets back healthy, too.
Well, he's out there.
I know. I saw him running around the other day. That's going to become another storyline. I don't think he plays a game this year for the Browns. I think they're done with him.
Well, the Browns already basically said, like, we made a mistake. So I don't think that he's going to be suiting up for them. He's one of 6 quarterbacks on the roster right now. And you know what they say about having 6 quarterbacks?
You don't have one?
Well, they never say anything.
Yeah, wasn't
stupid.
Initially, if you have 2 quarterbacks, you don't have one?
You have 6, you really are really
6,
sunk.
you have -3.
If you have 6, you're screwed.
It's a real math problem, really. But, will Deshaun get another chance somewhere? I mean, other guys coming off Achilles have definitely gotten chances, but it's not going to be someone handing him the starting position.
I don't think so.
Really?
Yeah, I usually I would say so, and it's because at least when all these allegations were going on, right, people viewed him as a great quarterback. I think now I view Deshaun Watson in terms of quarterback play as a bum.
Yeah, well, just broken. I mean, just the shoulder. It's a shoulder, Achilles, all these things that you really don't want associated with a quarterback position. But, EJ, do you think the quarterback of the future for the Browns is in the building?
No, only because they're incapable of actually developing one of these guys to be the guy.
Yeah.
Like, I've been the person saying Kenny Pickett should be QB1. Like, you should give him an opportunity. You traded for the guy. The guy was a former first-round pick. See what you got in him, and then if he doesn't work, then you try the rookies. And you got 2 rookies who, Shedeur Sanders, put up a bunch of stats in Colorado. Dylan Gabriel put up a bunch of stats at Oregon. I keep thinking about Zach calling him a little fella yesterday. It's the funniest thing I've ever heard.
I know.
So I kept thinking
You make it seem like he's Darren Sproles or something.
But you got 2 guys who I think in theory could be good for them, but I don't have any confidence that they're able to develop those guys. So they're not in the building. I said in college, the guy might be in high school or in junior high school or in elementary school. Like, the guy for them might be years and years and years away because this current administration has shown no ability to develop
Patrick
QBs.
Mahomes' son will eventually be the franchise quarterback.
Yeah, like gold, silver, and bronze, the kids' names. But here's the thing.
Wait, what?
Mahomes' kids' names. Isn't it bronze and silver and sterling, and it's all medals?
Oh, I didn't know that.
But here's the other thing then. If you can't develop a quarterback when you are you had Baker Mayfield, the number 1 pick in the draft, you picked in a draft 2018 where you're going to have at least 2 guys going to the Hall of Fame and probably more, potentially, when it's all said and done. And then you get Deshaun Watson, okay, who at the time, top 10 quarterback, but ends up getting hurt. And now you've got this whatever's going on. How can you say Kevin Stefanski is a great head coach? I mean, how many offensive-minded head coaches who need quarterbacks get the number 1 overall pick and blow that up or then get the hottest guy on the market and blow that up. Like that, doesn't that come back on the coach at all?
A little bit, but Kevin Stefanski reminds me of that kind. And I actually really like Kevin Stefanski. I actually do think he's a very good head coach. But he reminds me of the kind of guy that needs a particular veteran type to run his offense. Because when it was Baker Mayfield, that was okay for a while, but Baker had some injuries, immaturity, and then he couldn't deal with him anymore. And then he had Deshaun Watson, who the styles never meshed, and then he got hurt. But when he had Joe Flacco, an older guy who understood the game, who was a little more advanced in terms of just his knowledge of the game, the offense, while there were turnovers, was explosive. And then we saw when he had where was Minnesota before? Case Keenum, right?
Yep.
Case Keenum ran the offense, just swimmingly, right? Took them to the NFC title game. So he's one of those guys where he may not be great to develop a QB, but if he finds a way to get another veteran who fits his system, maybe that's going to be his best fit.
It was never a coincidence that Kirk Cousins was at that Chipotle in Cleveland.
Right.
Like there's
he
no
wanted
way.
to go there.
Yes.
That's obvious.
Yeah.
But I
thought you meant you want to go to Chipotle. I'm like, well, there's got to be a 1 million Chipotles.
Have you tasted that honey Chipotle chicken? It is glorious.
There was a commercial that was playing for it on my way in, and I was like, maybe
it lives up to the hype.
Really?
It's really good.
That's not even an ad. They don't even advertise on this show. That's just free.
I'm a little annoyed at EJ though.
Why?
I'm gonna sound like a sports talk radio caller now. He stole my thunder because I'm sitting in Perloff's chair and I was going to bring up Case Keenum because there's a Case Keenum quote on the show.
Yep.
But yes, Stefanski was the OC there when they got to the NFC Championship game and got stomped by the Eagles.
Chipotle.
It's so funny. Yeah. It's funny because you wouldn't think that Perloff and Case Keenum, like on the outside, you wouldn't think that maybe they'd be really good friends. But I've seen them together now, like at a social function, and like they get along swimmingly. And Perloff wrote his book, but
Bro,
they.
what are you doing
Wait,
here?
Perloff wrote his book?
Oh yeah, they're friends. I'm telling you, Perloff's he knows their whole family.
He knows all the bum quarterbacks.
No.
Come
on.
Case not a bum.
Case is going to end up being a Super Bowl winning head coach probably at some point, and Perloff's going to probably write that book too.
He's a player.
It's a good book.
All the quarterbacks that are not great quarterbacks, Perloff, and this is a compliment. I know it doesn't sound that way. He's like best friends with them. Everyone, the main guys have guys. Even the non-main guys, they still need a guy. Perloff just happens to be their guy.
Perloff's got an infatuation with quarterbacks from Texas.
Mm-hmm. He does. Yes.
There you go.
And like his knowledge of like the high school scene and everything is like almost
It's encyclopedia.
Yeah. It's like, oh yes, this West Texas. This is where you really get the guys who can move and throw the ball. I'm like, okay.
He knows all the rivalries of the different high schools and stuff.
You know when I realized it? I had Cam Ward on when he was at Washington State.
Yeah.
And I brought him up. I go, what a story this is. He goes, yeah, Incarnate Word, 0-star recruit. And right away, Perloff, boom.
He was the one who sold me on Cam Ward for the Canes. Because I was like, he didn't win a lot at Washington State. He's like, no, trust me, this guy's going to be great for you. And I'm like, okay.
Maybe the Browns should hire Perloff to be in the scouting department.
Listen, if it's Texas quarterbacks, he's got it on lock.
Back.
Ramon's in Indianapolis. Ramon, you want to weigh in on what's going on with the Browns? Morning, sir.
Well, you guys, I tell you, y'all are the greatest. Maggie, you set that up good. I do have a problem with these coaches getting way out. It is on Stefanski. These coaches are getting paid big money. I'm a walk-on college baseball player. My cousin played pro football, walked on at Alabama. The old Shilo, Mike Shilo gave him a chance. Then the rest was history. If these coaches are supposed to be who they are, then we shouldn't have a problem. My problem with this whole Shedeur thing is we know politics exists in sports. I saw when I played. It's politics. It's got a lot of politics. But they always want to holler about it's a meritocracy.
Yep.
Sports is the ultimate meritocracy. Then if that's the case, then who's earning the job? Who's earned the job? Flacco is going to get killed at Murderers Row first 6 games. He's going to be 1-5, 0-6 at the most. When you get a chance, list their first 6 games. I looked at it yesterday. It's Murderers Row. Okay, so he's going to either get beat up, throw 20 interceptions, and going to get replaced. So I don't know why you don't go ahead and develop and grow like you're supposed to. And then let me tell you what upset me even more, Maggie.
Yeah.
I'm in Chicago over the weekend listening to AM 1000. I think that's the ESPN affiliate up there. They're killing Caleb Williams, their own Bear people. Man, I'm from that area. I know they're rough, but God, dog, they were killing Caleb. If he doesn't pick up the it's on him. No, it's not. Brad Johnson was hired. He's the coach. He's supposed to make it happen.
Yeah.
I don't know why these coaches get a pass. Let's stop giving them a pass. They're getting paid big bucks. They're supposed to be geniuses. Look at this one we got here right now, and look what we have here in Indianapolis.
Yeah,
Thanks.
Shane Steichen. Ramon, solid call as always. Enjoy your day. I feel like Caleb Williams is definitely taking a lot of heat, but quickly, the Browns' schedule. Home Cincinnati with the new look Bengals coming out of the gates hot.
Best time to get Cincinnati, honestly.
Well, we'll see. Home Cincinnati at Baltimore, home Green Bay, at Detroit, in Europe to play the Minnesota Vikings, at Pittsburgh, home Miami, at New England, then the bye.
Miami, Shedeur Sanders will be starting.
I think it's probably going to be the bye week, but you can convince me Miami.
And also, just to push back on Ramon for a second, and it was a good call. I feel as if the coaches are the one that usually get the blame. The organization's usually stuck in, we got to decide between the coach or the quarterback if both aren't performing well. Usually the coach goes first and then the quarterback. I think the criticism of Caleb Williams is totally fair. After the first season, he wasn't horrible, but he was outshined by Jaden Daniels, and we blamed the coach in Matt Eberflus, and now we paired him up with the new coach. And
but Eberflus deserved it. He was a disaster out there.
He was Eberflus. He was terrible. He was brutal. But in terms of Caleb Williams, now the pressure is all on him. And then after 1 year, if Ben Johnson doesn't make him look great, then we shift our attention to Ben Johnson. On here with Shedeur Sanders, I think the conversation's too premature to go after Stefanski for not being able to develop him because Shedeur looked good in the first preseason game. So, and if you're trying to put him in the best position to succeed, and I'm a Shedeur guy, if it was up to me, I'd play Shedeur week 1. But from a prudent kind of thought process, the first 6 games, doesn't it make sense if you're protecting the young quarterback to throw Joe Flacco out there?
Yeah, it's not about, I don't think anyone believes that Shedeur would start week 1. I don't even think it's about that. It's about the depth chart comes out after that preseason week 1 where he played well and 2 guys in front of him have hamstring injuries and he doesn't budge. Now, maybe he narrowed the gap a little bit. Maybe we're talking about degrees here, but it just feels like no matter what you do or what he does in the preseason is not going to have any bearing on this quarterback competition, which they said was an open competition. So, listen, we don't see behind the scenes and we're not there for every snap at a joint practice, but it's like, what message do you send when a guy does perform and gets nothing for it?
Yeah, that's why the only way I could justify it is what I go back to earlier. I think they're trying to send him a message. All right, you did everything that was asked of you, right? We weren't even giving you the reps, and look at the way that you perform. You exceeded our expectations. There's all this stuff about Shedeur and, being brash and being arrogant, which I want in a quarterback. Let me be clear. I think that they're trying to see how he reacts to this. And I'm fascinated if he keeps on playing well and passing these tests, then what's the true reflection at the end of this competition? Because at the end of this competition, bare minimum, if he's not quarterback 2, then either he didn't play well, which I don't think is going to be the case, or this was, like we're talking about, one big giant farce.
888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. That's our question. Is the Browns quarterback of the future on the roster right now? EJ said they might be in elementary school. Let's just not forget that was said.
They may be bouncing around somewhere, if you know what I'm saying.
Coming up, what does it mean to be a blue blood in college football? Tackle that next. It's Maggie and Perloff Show. Zach Gelb's in for Pearl.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. 3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back. Maggie and Perloff show. Zach Gelb in for Perloff today. We got AP poll to react to and one team that got royally screwed. Not just a little. And actually, I can make the case that two teams got royally screwed in this top 25. What? How do these voters not... Like, you can't even do the paper poll? That's what I don't understand. The paper poll. We haven't even played a game yet. This should be the easiest one. Anyway, we're talking about Shedeur Sanders and whether or not he's the quarterback of the future for the Browns. Ed is in Pittsburgh. What's up, Ed?
Hey, good morning. How you doing?
Ed, you're in Pittsburgh, California?
Oh, yeah. It's the Bay Area, about 40 miles outside of Oakland.
Oh, beautiful. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, I just wanted to comment. I've been dealing with this Shedeur Sanders. I'm going to call it a letdown because if you just go back to the draft, he was totally screwed. I don't know if it's had anything to do with his dad being prime time in the limelight, but it has fallen onto the son, who is completely talented, he may not have the speed of like a Lamar Jackson. He may not have a cannon of an arm like a McNair may have had. But the kid is precise. He tried to do everything to his best performance in the game. But what gets me really is like how these organizations is stating that he was arrogant and unprepared. No disrespect to any other listeners out there, but when you get an African American kid that has been brought up, and I won't necessarily say that he was spoiled, but he's been groomed through different atmospheres of how to relate to different individuals. My assumption is these organizations that claim that he interviewed badly is because some questions that he asked, he was able to answer them, and their expectation was to be something would be a far less. So I strongly feel that that's a lot of the things that he is trying to overcome from the finger point. And now for the Browns, after this performance on this past weekend, to keep him fourth on the depth chart when you got two quarterbacks that's injured, and then you got one that's nearly 50 years old, jokingly speaking, but they have him a fourth-string quarterback after this one game. I mean, it's just an embarrassment, and it is. I think that there's a fire that's going to get started between the general manager and the owner who did and did not want Sanders, because he's outperforming right now, just looking. Nothing away from
no, you're right. At some point, the owner's going to step in to fill seats, I think, because, and thank you for the phone call. I think that the heat is with Shedeur, to use a wrestling term, and, we've kind of been there, done that with Joe Flacco, even though Flacco should win the job because of his, seniority. He is going to have the most skill. Obviously, he's at 18 years in the NFL. As far as the Shedeur, like the pre-draft stuff, it's funny, Zach, about how sometimes having famous fathers or famous, parents can really help you in certain situations. There's a reason for the term Nepo baby. Sometimes it really helps you, and other times it really hurts you. And I think in Shedeur's case, it did hurt him. Now, I'm not saying that everyone passed on him because of Deion, but there was this sort of boogeyman aspect to Deion that people thought if you draft Shedeur, all of a sudden Deion is in your building. Like all of a sudden, clear out your office, here comes Deion. Little did we know, he was fighting bladder cancer at the time. His health, and that's in remission, thankfully, but his health, I don't think, is going to make him out to be the coach in waiting who's just like ready to pounce if Kevin Stefanski gets fired.
I think the perception about the Sanders is completely just off in just terms of what happened at Colorado. And I think the best argument you have on why Shedeur should have been picked earlier was they had the Heisman Trophy winner on their team, and the Heisman Trophy winner was their best player, but it wasn't their most valuable player. And Ryan Koenigsberg, who covers Colorado, does a great job. He made that point to me. He goes, Shedeur is the most valuable player on the Colorado football team. And he did more with less. And Travis even had some injuries. But I was sitting there during the draft, and I was flabbergasted like most people. I couldn't believe what I was seeing first round, second round, third round, fourth round. So I texted someone that is associated with someone and knows him very well in the interview process.
Okay.
And I asked him, can you have this make sense to me? And that person responded back, I know he was a terrible interview and he came off as entitled. Okay. Now, I hear that and I still say to myself, he shouldn't have fell to the fifth round. So does the Coach Prime stuff then factor into that and you have the avalanche of how it gets to that point? Absolutely. But it's still crazy to me that we're sitting here talking about Shedeur Sanders. And I know it's one lousy preseason game, but what he did, that these NFL teams, who most of them can't pick a quarterback if their life was on it, still passed on this guy when they got incredible value in the third or the fourth round. That's the part to me that I don't care how bad of an interview he was, how entitled he was, I can't wrap my head around how he went to the fourth round.
Well, and people will say if you have a strong culture and if you have a strong program and if you feel solid about what you're doing on your football team, then can't you get it through to someone to fall in line, right? Can you get through to somebody, hey, this is what leadership looks like in our program. Mm-hmm. This is what leadership looks like to name your team, Pittsburgh Steelers, New Orleans Saints, anyone who needed a quarterback. Maybe it's the Cleveland Browns now. And I don't think there were a lot of teams that felt like they wanted to bring him into the building because they probably felt like the moment things go wrong or something like that, then Deion's going to have a microphone and he's going to call him out.
But how do you identify those red flags, right, on Shedeur Sanders? And I say that in air quotes. But then a guy like Jamarcus Russell, who was incredible in college, clearly never wanted to put in the work. And what? Because he won a national championship and he was great. He goes the number 1 overall pick and he hoodwinked you there. Like, how did those geniuses that are able to say Shedeur's a terrible interview and he's entitled, how did they get fooled by Jamarcus Russell?
Well, I think Al Davis was always looking for a different kind of thing.
Yeah, that's a good point.
888-710-4ISN, like a je ne sais quoi. Not that Al Davis doesn't know football. He certainly did. May he rest in peace. But
Darius Hayward Bay.
He was always looking for, like, I don't know,
the shiny car.
Yeah, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Something like
that. And then you further get to the shiny car and you go, oh, there's the windshield's cracked.
It's a lemon.
The check engine light is on and the 2 front tires are out.
Like, it's not a car.
Yeah.
It's a refrigerator.
Good luck. Okay, we will get to the AP poll in just a moment, but first, Andrew Bogusch is with us. He's got headlines. Hi.
And guys, before they maybe flirt with Micah Parsons and take Aaron Donald out of storage, the Rams need clarity at quarterback. Matthew Stafford was supposed to return to practice yesterday, but did not. His back not feeling perfect when he woke up after throwing a bit on Saturday. Here's Sean McVay.
We all know there's nobody that's tougher than this guy, and so we are going to still be safe. But I think more than anything, it's like, he wants to be out there more than anybody. His teammates can't wait for him to be out there. But I'm going to defer to, Reggie and Dr. Watkins, and then listening to Matthew's feedback, because we just felt like, it wasn't in alignment with how he was feeling to progress accordingly.
McVay said again yesterday, surgery has not been discussed as a way to address the aggravated disc in Stafford's back.
Good pronunciation.
Thank you. I thought for a while this might have just been veteran guy, like, I'm going to stay home for a while, see you in a couple of weeks. But clearly this is an actual injury thing that is going to affect them this year.
Well, and back surgery means your career's over. I mean, at this point, 36, 37?
36.
Yeah, you're not, coming back from back surgery. But
definitely.
The one thing is, did you guys notice, and obviously we're not football players here, but we've been around a lot of them, and we make this our life's work. So he gets the epidural. And then the first practice that he suits up for, he throws 60 passes.
Not smart.
That felt like a lot.
Yeah, it almost felt like a overcompensation to be like, yo, trust me, guys. Like, I got this. Like, we're ready to go. And then that happens when you get older. Then you wake up, you feel good that day. It's the next day where you're like, oh, I can't move.
Well, I'm going to be honest. Like, as the person on the show who has had an epidural, you don't feel anything. You don't feel anything. So I can understand why you're like, oh, this is amazing.
But a sprained ankle is worse pain.
Sure.
The epidural, and then giving birth, definitely.
Welcome back, Manny. Eagles guard Landon Dickerson expected
it's
to
a high ankle sprain, send to linger. I might know what you're talking about.
You remember from Full House ever when they had Jesse walk around and pretend like he was pregnant? We should have Manny do that. Like, get one of those straps on him and just walk around with that extra weight for about 8 months. See how he does.
Like Charles Barkley said, it can't be any worse than playing basketball on a sprained ankle.
I thought you were going to make a San Antonio joke there for a second.
I'm going to Barkley for sympathy.
Landon Dickerson expected to undergo a minor procedure on his right meniscus after getting hurt in practice Sunday night. Being back for opening night, still a very good possibility. And Niners head coach Kyle Shanahan said yesterday they're targeting week 6 for Brandon Ayuk's return from his torn ACL, but obviously a lot needs to go right between now and then.
And Victoria, definitely a secret.
The Indiana Fever are falling apart. Caitlin Clark's right groin injury is not new. What is new? Season-ending injuries to Ari McDonald and Sydney Colson. The team needed a special permission to add veteran guard Odyssey Sims over the weekend. Clark is at least back to running. Her injury is getting better, but still no practice yet, says head coach Stephanie White.
She's been able to get a little bit more in her full court running, with her all of her body weight. It's really building up from doing minimal to then building some endurance to do longer periods of time. She's been able to do a little bit more on the court in terms of how she moves, but not into practice yet.
Tonight will be the 20th game Clark misses with 3 different muscle injuries this season.
I mean, the season's almost over.
Yeah, I think they only have like 15, 16 games left.
Yeah, right. There's 44 games in a WNBA season.
So even less than that, because tonight's game 33, I believe.
Man, this is the whole sophomore season for Caitlin feels like it's just been one big wash.
This certainly feels like they're different injuries, but also connected, like anatomically. Something was mismanaged here. Whether she pushed too hard, they got a bad initial diagnosis, or they rushed her back out one of these times. Like, it probably shouldn't have been like this.
How many games left, you said, around?
So this is tonight, missing the 20th game, and it's game 33 for them.
Time to sell your stock on those sex toys if you purchase them. By the way.
Meanwhile, I mean, what an all-time just like loser move that these guys were selling crypto. And first of all, to do it, like maybe the first time it was funny, everyone sort of had a joke with it, and then it's like these, green sex toys that kept getting thrown onto the court. Meanwhile, they're getting closer and closer to the players, so bad job with your
That's
aim.
a typical Sunday, by the way, in Buffalo.
Well, I know that, but usually only when Tom Brady's in town. But then the Bills
I have a video of a ref kicking one of those things at a Pat Bills game that I went to.
I'm not ordering a blow-up though. But honestly, also, and I you guys know I grew up rooting for the Bills. You don't follow Bills Mafia like down they're not
down
the
the
litmus
rabbit hole.
test.
Right.
You know, like this is not, it's like basically like, judging someone when they're pledging a fraternity. Like this is not your best foot forward.
My first experience at a Buffalo Bills game, I'm sitting in the upper deck, 50-yard line. The Bills are getting blown out by the Patriots. They finally score a touchdown.
Were you wearing Pat stuff?
Yes. Got a lot of Brady's a lady.
Yeah.
I heard that. But the 70-year-old woman after the Bills score a touchdown where they're down 30 points.
Yeah.
Flashes the crowd. She was 70.
Go Bills.
Oh.
I couldn't believe it.
If you got it, flaunt it.
Go Bills.
What's your aunt's name, Maggie?
Listen, when you're 70 beers in, what does it matter?
You're a married man. Calm down.
By the way, nothing more predictable our way that this whole scheme came up by losers who are into crypto.
Into crypto.
Yeah,
it's such a loser move.
And deep thinking crypto too, not just crypto. Like, we're gonna change we need a refresh. The industry needs a rebrand. We're gonna do this.
No, it's like we got to make America funny again, and we're gonna also sell you some crypto. It's like, first of all, you're not that funny. I have no sympathy for men.
When would the walking bets occur then from those crypto people? If you have any, like when are they gonna start walking around just giving out picks?
It's just like it was just such a bottom falling out, and it's like, and we've got a crypto coin that's like a green sex toy.
This is why some people still need to be stuffed in lockers.
Yep.
I don't want to say I'm pro. I want to say I'm pro.
All right, BT.
Manny, what are you doing during the break? I'll pick you up.
No, but these guys clearly weren't.
What did I do? I'm not the one throwing it.
You're just the first person I looked at.
I'm saying, like, these guys clearly weren't stuffed enough locker rooms in high school, and they think, this is gonna be funny. What if we do this? If they did this to like a football player or a basketball player in high school, they would have got stuffed in the locker, and they would never did it again.
Cap would probably be down for the social media bit if we just stuffed employees into the lockers and gave them swirlies. We could bring that back.
Bring back bullying. Bring back bullying.
We're a pro-bullying kind of show.
Yeah. Who gives a bleep about your feelings?
So one other thing that's happening, and not to step on your update, folks, I'm sure you were getting to this, but clearly the internet's abuzz.
Oh, right.
Because the next episode of the Kelsey Brothers podcast is going to feature Taylor Swift. Taylor's doing a podcast for the first time. You jabroni! Going on the pod with her boyfriend and her boyfriend's
bullying
brother.
get you to this, by the way?
Yeah,
Because,
I was lost.
No, the crypto
I'll sit back
part.
and listen.
I thought I was in earth science class again.
No. This is what the crypto is what got me to this. So Taylor's doing her first ever podcast with Kelsey. It's going to break all types of records. The Trump on Rogan is going to be old news because this is going to just shatter the record books.
My ratings were the largest.
Yeah, sure. But I hope they're not trying to sell us something. This is where I'm getting to. Right, her album, but she also is a musician, so that's like not so far off the beaten path. I was thinking about this when the sex toy thing happens, and it turns out it's some stupid scam for pump and dump scheme to sell you guys crypto. Don't fall for it. This is not the Haktua 2.0. But I'm like, please, Taylor and Travis, I hope they're not trying to like, hey, and by the way, we're partnering up with a lifestyle brand to bring you all of our latest moisturizers and picks and sweatshirts and whatever. I just don't want to be sold something outside the music. The music I get. She's a musician. That makes sense. It's like Kelsey saying, tune in week 1. Mm-hmm. Don't sell me anything. I don't want this to launch anything.
Are you going to listen to the whole thing, though?
Yeah.
Clothes or no clothes?
Shower, no shower. No shower. Beer, no beer.
Take it easy.
Beer, no beer.
Right. Depends how insufferable they are. I might need a couple beers.
So I think I'm just going to consume this by the short clips on social media. And I think even if she's trying to sell people something or if he's trying to sell people something, Most of the stuff is going to be about their love and the way that she looks at him and he looks at her. That's what I think this is really going to be.
And Jason's going to be there?
How long has this relationship been happening now? 2 years? Is it almost 3?
Yeah.
And you still hate it with every fiber of your body.
I just don't want to be sold something.
But no, but like
they're getting married.
That's fine, but if
and she won't believe that either.
I don't think this is the engagement announcement, though. I think that's
it's
coming
the
with
album.
a photo.
Swifties, her name is Maggie Gray, by the way. Just want to make that clear.
I've been out there with this. Listen, I think that they're definitely going to get married. My eyebrows raised on all celebrity couples. Like, you got to put in 30, 40 years. I need you to be like a Kira Sedgwick, Kevin Bacon type of relationship before I actually believe it's real. But I just don't, Taylor Swift's going to be on the Kelsey podcast. I just don't want it to be a misdirection where all of a sudden I'm getting sold some kind of scented candle.
Right, but we know she's going on to announce the album. The clip is them being all cute and flirty.
Yeah.
And your cynical heart and brain take you don't sell me perfume.
Well,
we know it's coming. You're fabricating a reason to be mad at them. Why don't you let them be happy?
If you can't believe that the guys who are throwing the green sex toys onto the WNBA courts had altruistic intentions, then what can we even believe?
I think that you're being disrespectful in comparing these two to that dope.
I agree with that.
We're all selling something, guys.
I would actually like to see a podcast with Pamela Anderson and Liam Neeson.
That's a new relationship.
Yeah, but that's an interesting relationship. I wasn't expecting the older demographic to be getting into this relationship business like that.
Why not? They're both people.
You ever watch some Golden Bachelor, Golden Bachelorette? This is the thing.
That show, by the way, horrible. I was forced to watch one episode. Oh, my God.
I'll see myself out.
You're an
Who
ageist.
watches that stuff?
EJ.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, the Goldens.
Got to check your browsing history.
Not crazy about the Goldens. I love the regular Bachelorette, but Goldens, I mean, you want to see old people found love.
I don't need to see old people rolling around.
They're
I don't
not
need to
that
see
old.
it.
They're like in their 60s. That's nothing.
Does that also consume in the nude?
Not me, but others maybe.
We're talking about understand how much play-by-play is consumed in the news.
Put it this way: if you have if you could be in a
like
Life
it was
Alert
her college
commercial,
thesis at GW.
if you could be in a Life Alert commercial, I don't need to see you on a reality TV show. By the way, EJ. That's
my bigger issue is that they keep casting bums. The last two Golden Bachelors were complete bums.
Yeah.
So bad that they couldn't even do the second season. They had to just wait and get another guy.
Yeah, the guy had like a girlfriend or something, right? He was a fraud.
Yeah, and the first guy was like nothing he said he was. It's a joke. They got to figure that part out.
It's a bunch of George O'Learys.
That's a poem.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Man, he's confused.
College football. That's where I was trying to turn our attention to.
What a transition right there.
I'm a pro.
Man, are you aware of George O'Leary?
Never heard of that guy in my life.
Oh,
no way. All right.
Go to that Wikipedia page, baby.
This was a time.
Keep your pants on for this one, by the way.
This was a time in the world, Manny. We tried to say bring bullying back. It was a time in the world where you could lie on your resume and nobody would figure it out until they did.
How do you think Bogusch got this job?
I was going to say you.
Fair.
Blaming the resume. George O'Leary was the head coach of Notre Dame until he was not.
Yeah.
888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Okay, transition college football. Got some news yesterday about a new QB1 in the SEC. So we'll get you to that. And also the AP Top 25, what they got so wrong. Maggie Perloff Show. Zach Gelb in for Pearl.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. 3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to Maggie Perloff Show. Zach Gelb in for Perloff. It's on vacation for another couple days. Let's get to the AP Top 25. Coaches poll came out last week. Had some issues with that. Then here comes the AP poll, Zach, and I've got way more issues with that. So you got 10 SEC schools, 6 Big Ten. The only group of 5 that they added was Boise, who clocks in at 25. Here's my biggest issue. I still think Clemson, weirdly, is underseeded at 4.
Fair.
They were 6th in the coaches poll. Thought they could actually be higher. But the other part, it's actually about 2 teams that did not make it into the top 25 is my biggest gripe. USC is not a top 25 college football program this year, and neither is Baylor.
Baylor, I agree. USC, absolutely not. Stinking Lincoln Riley, he is so overrated.
Yeah, but no, it's
they're
not.
at best going to be 8 wins.
Okay, and James Franklin's not over. Like, here's the thing. It's not just about the coach, though.
But they'll at least win 10 games, Penn State.
Okay, maybe. But, and yeah, you're probably right. But like Lincoln Riley, 4th season, there's a lot of pressure. I totally understand that. But the defense has always been the biggest issue. And the defense has gotten better every year that he's been there. It was terrible. It was awful. Don't get me wrong. But they have gotten much bigger on the defense, as far as everyone will tell you. They have, listen, if Lincoln Riley wanted the best quarterback in the class outside of Arch Manning, I think he makes a case, right? For him to stay with Jaden Mayava, there's an extra A in there always that I get wrong. But for him to stick with him after what we saw after Miller Moss was benched last year, I think that says something. Like, Lincoln Riley is, to me, as close we have as a quarterback kingmaker than anybody. I put him over Sark. And so, listen, do they need to be better on the road? Yes. Do they have some tough road games? At Oregon, at Notre Dame, at Illinois, at Nebraska? Those are going to be tough games. They lost a lot of close games last year, though, where I think if there's a come back to the mean on those, they're going to be in a better spot. And Baylor, if you like Clemson and if you like Penn State and you like all these returning guys, then you got to like Baylor, who Sawyer Robertson as their quarterback was probably one of the best in the country, top 15 for sure by the end of last year.
Baylor, I absolutely agree. I was shocked that they weren't in the top 25. USC, I can't get there. And did USC, I'm looking at the others receiving votes. I don't even know if they got a vote.
64 votes in the other
Southern
votes.
California, boom, right there. Okay, I just I read that as Cal.
It was BYU, Utah, Baylor, Louisville, who are not ranked, and then USC. Those are kind of top five.
And I think really those votes are based off of two things: Lincoln Riley and just the brand recognition of USC. I personally do not view that team as a top 25 team in the country, and I think Louisville should be in there before them. Baylor, BYU, Georgia Tech. I would even go Nebraska, and I like Summerall at Tulane, maybe even him as well. The Lincoln Riley appeal and aura, and I said this when he was at Oklahoma, I always thought he was a good coach.
Yeah.
People talked about him as if he invented football and he was the greatest coach ever. All those Heisman Trophy winners, all those Big 12 championship victories, and the guy never won one college football playoff game. If the great Lincoln Riley was so great, he would have won one college football playoff game, then goes to USC, has Caleb Williams. Sure, Williams gets hurt. They probably would have won the Pac-12 that year up against Utah, but they didn't. And then the next year has the reigning Heisman Trophy winner, and they didn't even come close to sniffing a playoff appearance.
Well, because the defense was so bad. But again, they are addressing that.
But that's because he trusted Grinch, who was that was stupid to do so.
Did you have any big gripes with the AP Top 25?
Nothing major. I will say LSU and Miami, I'm just fascinated by how we're talking about them at the end of the year.
9 and 10. LSU 9, Miami 10.
Nussmeier, will see what happens with the injury. Brian Kelly, he leaves Notre Dame to try to win a national championship, and Notre Dame has just got better. And Miami, this is a huge year for Mario Cristobal and then Carson Beck. Carson Beck was the belle of the ball last year. Georgia didn't want any part of him anymore. He lost to Cavender, and he lost his job, and now he's going to Miami. And he was supposed to be the first overall pick of the draft. And Mario Cristobal is a good coach, but this is his school, and you got to bring the U back. LSU and Miami, if they don't make the college football playoff in a 12-team format, I look at both those coaches, and I start to think about moving on and when you got to bring the next guy in.
Chris is in Birmingham, Alabama. Chris, good morning. What's your biggest issue with the top 25?
I mean, other than Illinois being ranked higher than it should, it's crazy, but the AP poll plays out. It usually goes annually, despite what Kurt Cincinnati and Ryan Day feel the need to display their passive aggressive, insecure, inferior conference egos to a point to get up called it the back and forth Mitch Fest in the media days. When in retrospect, it's only one-sided because what conference has the most ranked teams yet again annually. Here we are. It's the SEC.
Right.
To even nail in the coffin more when EJ and Maggie says they stand up for the little guy. The point being, this further proves there is indeed a little guy, and yet we still let them ramble off.
Yeah, but Chris, of course, the SEC got 10 teams in.
Yeah, the SEC.
That's about right.
The SEC and the Big Ten, the two best conferences in college football. They could have their bitch fest all they want.
Yeah.
The SEC needs to realize the Big Ten right now is on par with them, and they won the last two national championships, and now it's up to the SEC to take it back. But yeah, going in to this season, I do think the deepest conference in college football is the SEC. So I don't have a gripe that they got 10 teams.
No, I don't either. And and to be honest, Illinois is ranked 12th.
That's
what
fair.
Chris has a big issue with that. Well, they've got a lot of returning starters, and I don't think it's that they're so crazy overseeded here.
Yeah,
I don't know.
The teams behind them for SEC, I mean, South Carolina, Florida, OU, Tennessee, Ole Miss. I mean, is there a team out there that's offensive for Illinois to be ahead of?
I think South Carolina might be overseeded.
I think they are too.
Honestly, I think Illinois and South Carolina the same spot. Returning quarterback that are really damn good, coaches that we really like, and both those teams have to make the college football playoff, and they put them in front of South Carolina. I think it's fair for Illinois.
I mean, look at also the SEC. They get Florida as 15, where Baylor is basically the same kind of thing.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. 45 seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
One quarterback decision has been made in college football. Welcome to the show. Maggie Gray, Zach Gelbin for Perloff today. Zach, Alabama has landed on their starter. It's going to be Ty Simpson. Not a shock there. Simpson, 22 years old, sat behind Bryce Young originally, then sat for 2 years behind Jalen Milroe, so he's got plenty of watching experience. But he's the guy who beats out Austin Mack and Keelan Russell, two teenagers. And it makes a lot of sense. We were talking about the AP Top 25 poll, which was released yesterday. Alabama is sitting there at number 8. I think that's underseeded. You know, Alabama with a quarterback who's older. We've seen how that kind of experience can really help with these teams. You get Kalen DeBoer, the head coach, gets his offensive coordinator back, a guy he's worked with for 15 years, and Ryan Grubb. So they are back together after a year apart. And obviously it's Bama. If they didn't have a good defense, we'd wonder if hell was freezing over.
Well, that's the thing to me on why I love Alabama this year. And remember all those people that said, oh, Kalen DeBoer, he can't coach defense in the SEC. Oh, how is he going to be able to do that? I think right now they have the best defense in the country, and at worst, one of the best defenses in the country. And Ty Simpson is growing on me. About a month and a half ago, I would have said I wanted to see Keelan Russell start.
The youngest of all.
And let's also remember, they have Ryan Williams, who at one point last year, we were debating, is it Jeremiah Smith or is it Ryan Williams who's the best player in college football? And I think he's going to have a monster second season. I believe Alabama this year is at least winning 10 games.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at the standard for DeBoer, obviously he has to make the college football playoff this year. But I think they're definitely winning at least one college football playoff game. And I'm with you. I think Alabama at 8 right now, they're in an underrated spot, which is something they have not been in a long time.
Yeah, it is odd, right? It's not a non-traditional, untraditional underdog, if you will, but no one's really calling them an underdog in a true sense of the word. You know, it's funny about the pressure on Kalen DeBoer, and I'll agree with you that it's like, I think it's college football playoff kind of or bust. Like, I don't know if they'd necessarily move on from him after just 2 seasons. You know that when you're passing the torch from Nick Saban to anybody, it's going to take a little time, plus the parity in college football, not making excuses, but they have to make the college football playoff. I don't know about winning a game when you get there. I think it probably depends on how it looks. But one other expectation that I would have for Alabama, in order to be considered a air quote successful season, I don't think we're really going championship, but maybe, you also can't have one of those really bad losses. You know, it can't be the loss to Vandy. You can't have the loss to a bad Oklahoma team. You know, it's just got to, it can't be a letdown, right, of one of those bad losses. So to me, start off the season against Florida State. It's going to be a really interesting game, but it's got to be college football playoff, and also not, we don't trust Kalen DeBoer because he's going to lose to Vandy and Diego Pavia 2 years in a row.
I think that Bama needs to smother Florida State, especially with what Castellanos said and the blatant disrespect that he has to that Alabama program for a quarterback, by the way, that got benched by Boston College last year.
Yeah.
If Alabama is still Alabama, they need to not only beat Florida State, cover the 12 points, and smother them. And I look at DeBoer. I am a big fan of DeBoer. I've known him since Fresno State. He took Washington to a national championship game. I would be shocked if at some point during his tenure at Alabama, if he doesn't win a national championship, but if you miss the college football playoff this year, even myself, who is a huge, mega fan of Kalen DeBoer, I can't defend him. And I just wonder, the Alabama fan, what is going to be good enough for them this year? Because if they just make the college football playoff and they lose in the first round, there's going to be a lot of people that are saying, hey, that Nick Saban fellow wouldn't stand for this. And that's the tough part, is he's replacing Saban. What is going to be the bare minimum success? And that's why I kind of think he needs to at least win a college football playoff game or be one of those teams in the bye, which you don't need to win the SEC this year to be one of those bye teams because they changed that format in the top 4.
Yeah, you can give us a call at 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476, and your expectations for the University of Alabama. One other thing about this AP poll that sort of jumped out to me is, we talk a lot about parity in college football, and obviously Texas got the most first-place votes with 25. But, lots of teams got first-place votes. And, yeah, there are the big programs clearly are at the top, but I never got the sense, Zach, that the voters have a real strong suspicion on who is the best team in college football this year. Let's turn to our pal Andy Staples, covers college football for On3 and On3.com. Andy, you've got the internet big mad today. Good morning. How are you?
Hi, Maggie. Yeah, I knew this was coming. It was yesterday. It came out. I knew I was logging off Twitter as soon as it dropped. The annual, I guess it's going to be annual now because my editors seem to enjoy it. The blue blood list.
A lot of clicks, a lot of views too.
Yeah.
I chose strictly on vibes last year, and that pissed everybody off. So I created. There's no objective criteria because obviously it was a sport that was decided. The champion was decided by polls for years and years and years and years.
Yeah.
But the most objective criteria I could, and I think it even made people madder.
Okay, wait, let me set it up because we're introducing you. Andy Staples from On3 came out with the college football blue bloods according to you. And you did use a formula. I'll let you say it in a second. But you also, just to make people even a little extra mad, the teams that missed the cut, I think, is what has people really ticked off. But, Andy, what was your criteria for what determines who a blue blood is in college football?
So I did – obviously, you need historical success. So there's a couple different ways to measure that. But the easiest way is how much have you won over the years. So you have to be in the top 15 of all-time winning percentage for teams that have played at least 750 games. So – the 750 is an interesting one because that puts Florida State in. If you up to 1,000 games, Florida State's out because Florida State was a teacher's college that did not admit men until the 40s. So that's where you get some of this stuff. And like Boise State doesn't have the minimum number of games. Appalachian State has the minimum number of games, but hasn't won national championships in the FBS. But so you've got to do that. Top 15, that's the first one. Top 15, all-time winning percentage. Second, you have to have won national titles in at least 2 eras. So, and the way I divided the eras was 1936 is when the AP poll started. So that's the first time we have a semi-reliable national champion. So 1936 to 1964. 1965 is where they changed the rules to allow 2 platoon football. So everybody stopped being Travis Hunter, and you could have dedicated offensive and defensive players. So the game changed dramatically in 1965. So 1965 through 1997. 1998 is the BCS. That's the first actual national championship matchup where all the conferences were participating. So the third era is BCS and CFP. So you have to have won national titles in 2 of those 3 eras at least. And that's where I got into trouble because I didn't think about where teams won their national titles. I wasn't really trying to think about it because I know everybody thinks I tried to exclude people on purpose. I didn't. My own alma mater is the one that missed by 1 in winning percentage. But Nebraska and Penn State were the ones that got caught in the 2-era problem. Nebraska has national titles in 1970 and 1971, and then 94, 95, 97. That's the same era. That's the late poll era. They don't have any. If Nebraska had beaten Miami in the BCS title game after the 2001 season, Nebraska would be on the list and Miami would be off the list.
Yeah. Okay, so Andy, for people who are, in their car right now or maybe didn't get a chance to see it, let me roll out what you have. These are the Blue Bloods, according to Andy Staples, his criteria. Alabama, Florida State, Georgia, LSU, Michigan, Oklahoma, University of Miami, Notre Dame, Tennessee, Ohio State, Texas, and the University of Southern Cal, USC. Here's who missed the cut. Auburn, Clemson, Florida, you mentioned your alma mater, Nebraska, and Penn State. So you're right. I think the biggest thing, Andy, was people look at Nebraska and it's like one of those like, who is a blue blood? Nebraska. You can't tell the history of college football without Nebraska. And I think people associate Penn State also with one of those, won titles in the 80s, consider them a blue blood.
But the thing is, Penn State, like that's the thing that makes Penn State different, and in a way Nebraska. But Nebraska, it's tougher, and I feel bad for them because they have titles in the 70s and the 90s, which feels like two different eras. But that's when you break it all up, those are really the same era. But the Penn State one, they don't have titles in the 50s. They don't have titles in the 40s. They don't have titles in the 2000s. They just have 82 and 86. And I think that's the one that surprises some people. And then so basically, if they want to get on the list, if Penn State or Nebraska want to get on the list, just win the national title this year. Because then you'll have one in this era, and you're in. For Florida, so it goes Florida, Clemson, Auburn are the next three in winning percentage. They would have more work to do. It would take them several years of winning very, very consistently. And obviously, Clemson's been winning extremely consistently. Not so much Florida or Auburn. But to then move up, because like Miami's the last one on that list in winning percentage. Florida's the next one. Florida would have to do more consistent winning to jump Miami in winning percentage.
Andy Staples here with us. USC is on this list, and we know how great the brand is of USC, but current day USC, right now Lincoln Riley, this is a massive year for him. What are your expectations for him for this upcoming season?
This is not a massive year for him. He has a buyout that is too expensive to do anything about, and if he goes 7-5, nobody cares. Nobody's firing him. They have a huge recruiting class coming in 2026. So, look, they're probably going to be an average Big Ten team this year. If they're above average, that's good. That's probably better than they're expecting. And they've got a big class coming in next year. They like the guys they brought in this year. They have a quarterback named Husan Longstreet, who's a freshman, who he's not slated to start right now, but I wouldn't be shocked if he winds up starting by the end of the season. And so I think their arrow is kind of pointing toward the future. Right now, I don't know that they're good enough on both lines of scrimmage to be competitive at the top of the Big Ten this year.
Andy Staples is joining us. Andy, just back to the Blue Bloods for a moment. So, everyone's big mad about some of the programs that were left off and then some of the programs that were included. Of the programs that you did include as Blue Bloods, were there some to you that you were kind of surprised fit the criteria, or you even kind of shocked yourself? Because, to be honest, no offense to EJ, I don't know if I consider Miami a blue blood. Weirdly, I kind of think of them as a new blood, even though they may have the greatest college football team ever put together. And through my lifetime, Miami's always been a thing.
Yeah, the thing is, Miami's actually been playing a while, and they weren't great, but they were pretty good through the early years of the sport. And remember, when they started winning national titles, that was over 40 years ago. Like that Howard Schnellenberger national title in '83, that's 42 years ago. It's been a long time. It's interesting because Miami actually hasn't really been relevant on the national stage in 20 years. That last year they finally start to move back toward that. But if they don't have that 2001 title, they're not on that list.
Right.
That's the thing. They slipped it in because they got a BCS era title. But yeah, it's interesting when you think about it. But we're all getting old. Is I think what this means.
No.
Because I'm like, Miami didn't get really good till I was a kid. I'm like, wait, I was a kid a long time ago.
Yes, when I think of 30 years ago, I think it's 1970. That's not true. It's not the case. Okay.
Maggie, remember when we were kids and you listened
like I'm
to
talking
the
to my grandparents
quote-unquote
right
now. Oldie station in the car, and it was the best of the 50s, 60s, and 70s, and you're like, well, the 70s were only like 10 years ago.
No, what makes me feel the most old, besides people who I watch play their kids now playing professional sports, that will always make me feel old, but also classic hip hop. The classic hip hop station makes me feel
that's
very
a
old.
channel now.
I'm like, oh, you mean Biggie and Tupac? Uh-oh, that's classic now, and I guess it is. What did you find was the fan base that got the most upset at you? Was it you're identifying the blue bloods of college football? You used a method to do it. I know Nebraska, Penn State, you said was feels a little odd, but was there anyone else who kind of came out of the woodwork that you felt like they thought they either did belong or didn't belong? Who are you getting the most blowback from?
Well, the Florida fans are mad because Florida State and Miami are on their list and they're not. That's understandable. And Florida just missed by 1. Like it's that close. They meet the national title requirement within 96, 2006, 2008, but just off on the win percentage. And look. The thing about Florida is this is another one of our, generational. We've lived in a time when Florida's mostly been successful.
Right.
Our parents lived in a time when Florida wasn't very good. And so that's the problem is it took Florida a while to really get rolling. And that's why they're behind Miami in win percentage.
Andy Staples joining us from On3. You can check out the Andy and Ari podcast as a must listen. Fantastic job. Andy, just one more for you. Coming back to the present day and to the news. Ty Simpson gets the starting job at Alabama. Not too much of a shock there, I'm assuming. Alabama 8th in the coaches poll. What's your expectation for Kalen DeBoer and the Tide?
They're loaded. So it really is. If Ty Simpson is good, they're going to compete for the national title. And if he's average, they're going to be what they were last year. And what they were last year was 9-3, just missed the playoff. That's probably not good enough at Alabama. So I think they better be hoping he's good. Now, the situation is good because you've got Ryan Grubb coming back to reunite with Kalen DeBoer. Ryan Grubb was his longtime offensive coordinator. Remember, Ryan Grubb was the offensive coordinator of the Seahawks last year, and he ended up getting fired after one season. So he's back with Kalen DeBoer. He'll be calling plays. I think that's going to help, but we'll see. I mean, Ty Simpson was on the roster last year, and if you talk to Alabama fans, they'll say, oh, yeah, Jalen Milroe was the biggest problem last year. Okay, well, Ty Simpson didn't beat out Jalen Milroe. So maybe he's developed, but this is a situation where he's been on the roster for 4 years now. Mac Jones kind of was the identical thing. In his 4th year, he wins the job. He wins the national title. So entirely possible that could happen again.
Andy, last one for you. And again, thanks for the time today. We know it's busy with people shouting at you on the internet about blue blood programs in college football. But, we get this question a lot from listeners and we bring it up ourselves. And I don't know if we have a great answer for it. And I'm curious to get yours. With Arch Manning and with Texas being the number 1 team in the country, and people say, well, why couldn't Arch Manning beat out Quinn Ewers last year? And that, could Arch actually be as good as we think if he couldn't beat out Quinn Ewers? And we get this question often. What's your answer to that?
This is the same thing I was just talking about with Alabama.
Yeah, that's what made me think of it.
Because if Ty Simpson balls out, there's going to be some retroactive, why didn't you put him in over Jalen Milroe last year? There will be a ton of retroactive, why didn't you start Arch over Quinn last year? Steve Sarkisian will get relitigated, essentially. The 2024 season will get relitigated if Arch is awesome. Because, look, Quinn Ewers was a veteran. He was a longtime starter. So you're comfortable. He's comfortable with the offense. But if Arch is as good as people think he might be, Sark's going to get that question. And it's a legitimate question because if he was better, they might have left a national title on the table.
Hey, Andy, I got to ask you this because last night I was trying to go to bed to get up at 4 a.m. Eastern time for this show. And I see all this stuff about John Mateer's Venmos, which may be him, and these gambling allegations from 2022. What do you think the fallout's going to be from this? And are Oklahoma going to talk about this? Is Mateer going to have to say something? Because that took really social media by storm last night.
Yeah, I don't know what he's going to say at this point. The question is there more? Because there's nothing that can happen from this. What you've got is a bunch of Venmo transactions. First of all, kids, make your Venmo transactions private. Like, you're a moron if you have public Venmo transactions. Period. You're a moron. Because the first time I saw it, so for those who didn't see it, one of the transactions is just sports gambling, USC versus UCLA. It looks like somebody made it as a fake.
Sounds like me in college, honestly.
Because it's too obvious. It's just idiotic. But the fact of the matter is you can't prove anything from that Venmo transaction unless somebody's like, yeah, we were betting on the USC UCLA game and goes to the NCAA and says, this is what happened. I don't think that's what's going to happen. And who knows? Because again, people put all sorts of things in their Venmo transaction line. I only use emojis. So just in case, mine are private, but just in case you find them, you're going to have to decode the emoji. But the only thing that would happen is if a player had, say, a DraftKings or a FanDuel account and they got the history of that, that would be different. And they've talked about changing the rules where you can bet on the NFL, and because they understand that college students, they're going to bet. They have easy access to this. But you can't bet on college sports if you're a college athlete. Like that's always going to be a rule. That the books are going to make that a rule. The states are going to make that a rule. Like it's a federal law. You can't fix games. So like you can't gamble on your own sport. So that's where you have an issue. But if they can't find any proof of that, I don't see what more comes of this. So short answer, I don't know, because I don't know if there's anything else out there. But if it's just this, if it's just the Venmo transaction list, I don't think you can prove anything.
You hear that, by the way? That's a giant sigh of relief from Brent Venables right there.
No doubt. I'm sorry. November 23rd, 2022, John Mateer maybe pays someone for Ultra Sports Gambling FIFA World Cup. I mean, it does sound a little too on the nose.
Now, that one would be fine.
Yes, FIFA's fine.
It was against the rules then, but it would be fine now.
Andy, we love it. The college football Blue Bloods. You got to check this out. It's fantastic. Everything you write on 3 and the podcast, Andy and Ari, is a must listen. Thank you for the time. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, this one took us a little by storm. So just to get you caught up. So John Mateer is the new quarterback at Oklahoma, and he was at Washington State last year. And all of a sudden it pops up these Venmo screen grabs of him paying someone named Richard Roden. We don't know who this person is.
That's the bookie, I'm assuming.
That's the bookie who's, I'm sure, wants to go by his real name. Richard Roden apparently is getting paid by John Mateer or someone who's claiming to be John Mateer. It's all very nebulous right now, and it says it's for sports gambling. And one of them says UCLA, USC. It doesn't say football, but obviously, you can't bet on college sports if you're in college football.
Yeah, so I do, like, if I just had to guess, if you put a gun to my head, I would say that this is his Venmo account, and I was going through his Venmo history last night, and then after 30 minutes of doing it, it all became private, so I couldn't see it anymore.
What'd you see in those 30 minutes of scrolling?
There was a lot of...
gambling.
No, there was just... I can't say some of the words on the radio.
Oh, interesting.
But when you look at this whole thing, I think Andy hit the nail right in the head, and that's what I thought. Because I remember when I was in college, right? I was in a fraternity. We had a house bookie, and we would just Venmo him. But it can't really prove anything. Like, I could write, okay, I'm gambling USC, UCLA, but if, like, my account's not linked to a FanDuel or to DraftKings or whatever, I don't think there's going to be a punitive action here. But this is a story, and Venables and Mateer, they're going to have to respond to this at some point, unless they just let this go away.
888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476.
Can you imagine it was just like for pizza and wings, and that's what they titled it, just for jokes?
Now, Temple does play Oklahoma, my alma mater, on September 13th. John, can I give you enough money to maybe get Temple to cover that game? They'll probably be a 65-point underdog.
That's light. I'm just kidding. It is very interesting. I want to go back to Andy's original premise for even coming on the show, though, which is this Blue Bloods idea for college football. To me, and I know Andy had a formula here, but to not have Nebraska or Penn State just doesn't square. It doesn't seem right. And to put EJ's Miami team there also doesn't really seem right to me. I love Miami. I don't know if I consider them a blue blood like Michigan, who was playing in the year 1909.
I believe Miami now has the most Hall of Famers in the Pro Football Hall of Fame right now. I think they still, if not the most Pro Bowlers ever, they're in the top 2 or 3.
It's like all off of that 2001 team.
You can say that, but if we're talking about Blue Blood, talks about legacy, right? It's not just what you did yesterday or even 5 years ago. Yeah, so when we talk about the legacy of football, the greatest players of all time, the most of them have come from Miami. So I don't know. To me, that makes sense for them to be Blue Blood for that reason alone.
CTE acting up. I think there's too many teams here. 12 teams. Like, I would have liked to have
There's 135 in college football. It's not that many.
I know, but 12. We got 12 Blue Bloods. Like, that should be the elite. To me, like, give a list of 5 teams. Like, who are the 5 Blue Bloods in college football?
If you want to take it from 12 to 5, I would probably say Bama, Michigan, Notre Dame, USC, Ohio State.
Well, that's 6 now,
Texas.
right?
No, that was 5.
No, that was 5. But,
I would take out USC. I would put Ohio State and Texas
in.
with Michigan, Notre Dame, and Alabama.
Why is Texas over Miami? How many national titles does Texas have? 2?
I think the brand recognition, though, of Texas in the year of 2025 is a lot bigger than Miami.
888-710-4ISN. That's why this debate is crazy. 888-710-4476. And by the way, are we going to have blue bloods moving forward? If everyone's just taking a paycheck, does it even matter?
I think it's more college basketball, really, than
Well, I'm just
football.
saying, if everyone's taking a paycheck, then does the prestige of the university really matter? What's to say Texas Tech's not the next blue blood, or Texas A&M, or SMU?
I found it interesting that even in the just missed Oregon, not even in the conversation.
They feel like new blood to me.
Yeah,
and I know they have a great history.
I agree, too.
They got to win.
Tennessee, LSU, yeah. 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. College football blue bloods. What say you? Coming up, lots more to do, including we'll check in with our favorite college football coach next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Did they play this in the preseason game, Manny? Manny was in Buffalo over the weekend. Not to watch my Bills, to watch his Giants in the preseason.
The Giants have a quarterback.
Manny likes both teams, though. He's a Bills fan.
This guy loves to spread misinformation
Well, I've
on
seen you in
national radio.
in Bills gear before.
Well, he went to college in Buffalo.
Okay.
And that's when it seeps into your pores. And there's something about Buffalo you just can't quit.
We'll get the blue cheese out of him.
No, you got to have blue cheese there.
Of course.
Did you get wings when you were up there?
Of course, Imperial Pizza, delicious.
Let's get to Bogusch. He's got the latest headlines for us on this fine Tuesday. What's up, Bogusch?
You can get to me. We're going to stick with Manny. Get your day planner out because the NBA is releasing some marquee games this morning.
Keeping tabs on it right now.
Oh, my God. The Manny freak out preseason tweets are going to be just insufferable.
Plan your Manny moods accordingly. Night one of the new season is
Tuesday. Get a knife for my eyes now.
October 21st, the Thunder raised their banner against KD and the Rockets. Then it's Lakers-Warriors, both those games on NBC. The Knicks do host the Cavaliers on the next night, and then again on Christmas Day. That quintuple header now officially Knicks, Cavs, Thunder, Spurs, Mavs, Warriors, Rockets, Lakers, and T-Wolves, Nuggets.
Martin Luther King Day, Cooper Flag debut at Madison Square Garden, pro debut.
Now let me
It's right around the corner.
Can't wait.
Damn right it is.
It's
Yeah, damn
August.
right it is.
We're talking about MLK Day.
This is like Perloff telling us 2 weeks ago that it's winter, basically. That summer is over.
I know. He did say he heard a crackle of a leaf under his feet and said summer's over.
Let me now take you back to Sunday's Bears-Dolphins telecast. Adam Amin, Jim Miller, Stacey Dales were on Chicago TV, and Bears wideout Rome Odunze joined them from the sideline during the game. And now I pass the mic to Stacey.
Rome, work with me on this one. Somebody on your staff told me that if you and DJ had a baby, it would be Luther Burden. Because of the skill sets that you both bring.
Right, yeah.
Because of your contested ability and run after the catch, and because of your speed, and then because of DJ's obviously ability to be incredibly versatile. What I guess the point is,
are you a proud dad? I don't.
Oh no.
Yeah.
She's so good too. I don't love bringing this one thing to light. Stacey Dale's been doing this for a long time.
That's my adult. I belong to him.
Oh yeah, she was in the WNBA.
She was like a star in the WNBA. She was nice.
But that could have been more easily presented as, it seems like he's a combination of your two skill sets.
That's my adult. I belong to him.
I'm just happy that she was relaying somebody else's metaphor, that she didn't come with that on the fly. But what you can't see is Rome Odunze almost walking off camera. He is so confused by the question.
But I think we should do more of this. Like I've done this for years, where if you see someone playing and they remind you of two different players, I would always say, oh, if this person, that person had a little nookie time and they created a baby, that would be the offspring.
That got, there was a visual there.
Yeah. Oh, that's how it happens.
So is Rome the big spoon or the little spoon in this Chicago?
Hey, speaking of stuff from preseason games that I totally missed, I missed this, so thank you for bringing it to our attention. Did you guys see the thing with Geno Smith flipping off the person in Seattle?
He was right.
Wrote me off. I ain't right back though.
Totally missed it. Some guy had a sign up that said, "You and Jamarcus Russell, the biggest bust."
Like,
in the
who's
NFL.
the biggest bust?
Yeah. And
it's easily Jamarcus Russell. I would have given that guy a middle finger.
Okay, no, it's not one middle finger.
It's two.
It's two.
Double bird.
With some length.
With
Max
the
Crosby,
thumb out.
Max Crosby joined them too.
And then Pete Carroll came and tried to rip the sign out of their hands. I don't know how I missed this whole thing.
Oh, yeah, this was a big deal.
It's like Pete Carroll on tippy toes, like trying to grab the sign from some fan.
That fan is a clown.
Oh, just let it go, guys. It's a sign.
Yeah,
Come on.
I agree. I think they all three guys.
Everyone overreacted.
They all overreacted. But that like, if you're a Seahawks fan, that guy should be disowned. Like, Geno Smith, you guys had Russell Wilson, who, yes, he was a Super Bowl champion, but by the end of his time there was a malcontent and a declining player. And you guys look like you were going to descend into just complete irrelevance. And Geno Smith comes out of nowhere, takes you to the playoffs. You remain relevant for a couple of years. And, okay, he moves on. That's fine. Yeah. Now you got a guy saying you're worse than Jamarcus Russell. Give me a break. Get out of here.
I know, but the thing, it's so stupid. It's so silly. Like, Geno Smith is just signed another $50 million. Like, he's done nothing like Jamarcus. There's nothing. He saved his career. They're not even close to the same.
I like the swagger from Geno in this one. I do.
But the way double bird, it was so aggressive.
Right. And then, like you said, other people come in as if that was a very targeted, like that specifically bothers Geno Smith. Like the guy
nothing
knew
offensive about him.
It's
what
like
he was doing.
They revealed more about Geno's insecurity. You're right. If they just ignored it, like, who cares?
You can't mention Jamarcus. He can't see, like, don't let him see his name.
Yeah, I always laugh when someone gives me the double bird. Like, there's nothing more that I enjoy when I'm driving and you have someone next to you that has road rage.
Yeah.
And then they're honking their horn and they're driving past you and both their hands are off the steering wheel, which is not safe. And they're giving you, like, the double bird. I just laugh and blow them kisses. It's a very enjoyable experience.
Yeah, can't flip people off once you enter the public spotlight a little bit more, because you're never sure if all of a sudden, this happened. Actually, my parents had a restaurant, a catering company, and they had a van with their company name and phone number and stuff on the side. It's like a advertisement. And someone was driving their van delivering cookie baskets one day and flipped someone off, who they probably cut off anyway. And the person who got cut off called, and my mom picked up, and they're like, I just want to let you know, one of your drivers just gave you the bird.
The bird is such a great, it's such a great
awesome.
move. It's a great move. It's like, I almost never do it. I did it for the first time this summer, actually. In years. Like maybe since like high school. No, because some jackass, we're in a public park where people are having picnics.
Oh, this wasn't even in a car.
No, I wanted all the smoke. All right, we're in a public park where people are having picnics. My dog is out there. Young kids are out there, and some loser.
Let's go!
He must have been 45 years old. Is racing some little mini like little car. Those things like
RC car.
No, a remote control car.
Yeah, a remote control car.
Okay.
Like if he was 8 years old. I haven't done one of these things. I was 8 years old.
Yeah.
And this guy is flying this thing at what felt like 30 to 40 miles an hour where there are kids running. My dog is getting agitated. And I once waved him, hey, you got it, don't come over here. Can you just do it close to where you are? I can wave from a distance. This guy, of course, is 60 yards away. Keeps coming back to my area.
And you flipped him off?
Yeah, flipped him off while I was leaving.
I knew you looked familiar, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. Keep your toys to yourself.
Zach, you turned into a 6'2" Dominican man? That's what this guy looked like to me from a distance.
It could be my doppelganger. No. Si, senor.
How about this?
Yo soy fiesta.
Can you put this on the poll? A little Gronkowski there. Put this on the poll. The last time you flipped someone the bird.
Saludos, compañeros.
Mine was this morning. I gave people out of the finger when I walked in this morning.
But that's like
tell me another day.
That's a good morning. That's a good morning to people out here.
Just a wave.
It had something behind it.
Happiest Pete looked in months, honestly.
What else you got, Bogusch? That's time for one more.
A little more serious note: the Nevada State Supreme Court has ruled in John Gruden's favor in his lawsuit against Roger Goodell and the NFL. The case will proceed now to open court, not league-run arbitration. Gruden says the commissioner and the league leaked his gross emails on purpose to get the Raiders to fire him. And the Brewers have now won 10 straight games, 13 of their last 14, 25 of 29, and 49 of 65, Good Lord. Courtesy of last night's 7-1 home win over the Pirates. They are 30 games over 500, and they lead the Cubs by 6.5 games now in the NL Central.
You know what this all means, though.
Quick accident in October.
NLDS, that's right.
Unsustainable.
No, you're so nice and friendly to the people in Milwaukee.
Hey, I spent the summer in Wisconsin. It's a beautiful place.
And this is how you're going to do them.
This is how Brewers baseball, brother.
Well, it is a little bit odd to be this hot, and they're incredible, but there is not an expectation that they're going to win, right? I mean, in the NL, don't you just think the Dodgers are going to be there?
I think this team is real.
They'll beat the Mets.
Well, the Mets stink.
Oh, go drown yourself in spotted cow, right?
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Delicious.
You want me
How
to
good
be
is spotted cow?
You want me to be,
I'd be happy to drown in spotted cow, honestly.
take off the Yankee-colored lenses. I'm just, trying to be objective.
Oh, the ones that had you say they're back this morning because they won.
Back. Hey, let me tell you something. Those
You
back-to-back
tweet more
jacks,
about the Mets than the Yankees, you fraud.
That's not even very close to being true. I'm not taking your bait today. Throw the break.
Meanwhile, Wisconsin, I support you, and I think the Brewers are for real.
Yeah.
Well,
Manny hates Wisconsin. Don't let him in.
I love Sheboygan, okay? I don't know if you guys spent time in Sheboygan. I have.
I'm not going there, Bogusch. I just watch baseball, and I'm like, that team plays the right way.
Well,
Big fan of
they
Wisconsin
are really
Rapids.
good, but the other part, too, is that this is the false bravado of the Yankee fan. What has always been the elixir for the Yankees? Playing the Twins. Minnesota fans, I'm not trying to pick on you. You know this more than anybody. It's just like it's the salve, it's the bomb that gets the Yankees
it's like
right.
a bye week.
I know. It's crazy. How does it keep happening? I don't know, John. 888-710-4ISN.
That's baseball, Maggie.
Lots to do. Oh, speaking of John Gruden, got a question for you off that coach and another former coach who's trying to get back into the biz. We'll do that next. It's Maggie Perloff, Zach Gelbin today.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back. It's the Maggie Perloff Show. Zach Gelb is in for Perloff today, and we've covered a lot of ground, but there's one story out there. It's kind of like same story, but about two coaches, two very different circumstances. The first is John Gruden, who just won a court battle against the NFL in Nevada State Court. He's saying that the NFL leaked his very damaging, embarrassing, homophobic, racist, misogynistic emails on purpose to try to get him fired from the Raiders. And that continues to progress, Zach, in favor of Gruden. So the NFL is looking pretty bad here. This is Gruden on YouTube talking to Georgia about how he wants to coach, and he wants to coach in the SEC.
The only reason I really came here is I want to coach again. I'm being honest with you. I do not bull either. I want to coach again. I'd die to coach in the SEC. I would love it. I would love it.
Okay. Tell us what you really think, Coach. By the way, if you're Kirby Smart, you got to be like, what are you kidding? Like, I invited you here, and this is how you're going to...
double, X-jet, 36 counter naked waggle at 7, X quarter on 1. Ready? Good.
So that's Gruden. Where would he coach in the SEC is the first question. We'll get to the second coach next. What do you think?
I would say Auburn. Auburn, to me, I thought 2 years ago, hiring Hugh Freeze, it wasn't a mistake, but I would have gone after Coach Prime and Deion Sanders. I said it then. I don't think Auburn's going to be all that good this year, maybe at best 7 wins. I think they're going to be, though, below 500. And I'm not a big fan of Hugh Freeze in the year of 2025. I would think about bringing in John Gruden at Auburn.
But you're going to bring in one coach who was coming off of a scandal. Yeah. Hugh Freeze was for another coach who's coming off of a scandal, and you don't care.
In college football, I don't think they give a rat's ass about that.
Well, if they really didn't care, then Gruden would have been hired already. I really do believe that. And it would have, maybe not the SEC, but I'm surprised. Like, we're also cynical about sports at times, and we're all especially cynical about college football. If he really wanted to coach, a program would have taken a flyer on him.
But the question is, like, for years it was speculated about Tennessee and his potential interest. Now he's saying, I would die to coach in the bleeping SEC. And I do believe him going to Barstool is going to restore his image, especially in the NFL. Now, I know Roger Goodell and Portnoy, they hate each other, but a lot of these teams, like, they love Barstool. So I think the image of Gruden with these unboxings that he does on Barstool and the football show that he does on Barstool, it's going to repair his image where when we're sitting here this time next year and now he's made it abundantly clear and then some with a lot of profanity that he wants to coach in college, I do think there's going to be some schools. The question is, will it be a Power 4 or will it be a Group of 5 school?
I think it's Arkansas or Mississippi State. Those were the two that I kind of looked at. I was like, I bet they would get desperate to the point where Arkansas, not that he was involved in a scandal at all, But going after John Calipari on the basketball side, right? Like, okay, we've got a guy who, it was falling apart at Kentucky. We're going to bring him in. People are saying that, he's not as great a coach as he used to be, but he's got a huge personality. They've got tons of money. And I could see Arkansas, if they made a change. And they brought in Bobby Petrino to be their offensive coordinator, so clearly they don't care about scandal.
Let me tell you, pig suey if we have Calipari and Gruden.
Yep.
Oh, sign me up for that.
All of a sudden, that's an extremely interesting, colorful athletic department. Okay, the second coach is Jimbo Fisher. So Jimbo Fisher also saying recently that he would like to get back into coaching. Do you see that, Zach?
Pass. I have no interest in seeing Jimbo Fisher on a sideline again. I thought he was embarrassing on the field at A&M, but it was worse off the field when he took zero accountability and just made excuse after excuse after excuse for his putrid performances there. I would just say to Jimbo, who is a good talker, that's the irony of everything I just said, become a star on the ACC network or whoever just hired him, and that's what I would go about right now.
Yeah, I think Jimbo Fisher is definitely going to be coaching again. Now, remember, it was that massive buyout from A&M. He got $75 million or whatever, so he could lay low for a little bit. To me, Jimbo Fisher screams Big 12 coach. Whether that's going to be, say, Baylor has a down year with Dave Aranda, someone like that, I could see Jimbo Fisher coming in and looking like a get. I mean, let's, guys, be honest. Like, I know it didn't go well at A&M, obviously, but he's one of 4 coaches in college football that have actually won a national championship who are still coaching. So he's got a pedigree, and I think a Big 12 team would take a flyer on him.
I know that it's kind of rough to compare him to Dan Mullen because, like you said, he won a national championship. But Dan Mullen, who was at Mississippi State, was at Florida, was such a hot name for so many years. Now he's coaching at UNLV, and that's the job that he had to take if he wanted a job. I kind of think it's more of a group of 5 job for Jimbo Fisher rather than a power 4. I think the game has just passed him by. He's getting up there in age, and I just don't see what the excitement would be to bring in a Jimbo Fisher. I would rather go with a younger, inexperienced coach that is like 35, Notre Dame taking a gamble on a Marcus Freeman instead of just going for the big name of Jimbo Fisher. If this was 6-7 years ago, I wouldn't be saying this. I'd be jumping all over Jimbo Fisher. But in the year of 2025, then going to 2026, he just doesn't do it for me.
Man, is Jimbo that old? He's going to be 60 in October.
He's getting up there.
Bill Belichick's 72.
Yeah, but he's dating a 24-year-old.
Yeah, that is true.
Makes him younger.
Okay, John Gruden coaching in college, Jimbo Fisher back in college. What do you think? We asked you last segment, when's the last time you flipped someone the bird? And Andrew is in Cleveland, Ohio. Andrew, was this road rage incident or something else?
I know it was something else. So I was visiting my in-laws. To make a long story short, I grew up in a very loving family. I'm not saying my wife's family isn't loving, but they love to argue.
Got it.
Visiting my in-laws over the weekend, and, we had a great trip, did some kayaking, things like that. We were just sitting down, having some watermelon, hanging out, and my wife and her mom, got into a little argument, nothing crazy, just some banter back and forth. And as I'm sitting there, her mom just literally flips her off right in front of me, and my wife's Leslie, she was like, "Can you please not do this in front of Andrew? He's not used to this. Please do not do this." And it was just kind of funny and took us all kind of aback.
It's always the moms.
Oh, my gosh, Andrew, I love it. Do you have any idea what they were arguing about? What inane, small thing were they arguing about? The mom flipped the daughter the bird.
It was just, it's just like anything. The mom always has to have the last word, and, they just always need to have their final say. And my wife was trying to, get her point across, and her mom just got upset and just flipped her off.
Andrew, amazing story. When you go kayaking,
that's his mother-in-law, right?
Yeah.
Kind of want to flip the mother-in-law off now. I feel like it'd be poetic justice.
I thought that's where he was going. I'm not going to lie.
You got to have a set made of stone to flip your mother-in-law off. That would be crazy. There are some families, I think that's how they show love. Families full of lawyers and stuff, how they show love to each other is by arguing
got a set on 'em.
all the time.
Have you ever watched the Jerry Springer show back in the day? A lot of flipping off of mother-in-laws. And things like that.
That was mother-daughter. Just kayaking and whatnot. All of a sudden, you're flipping a daughter the bird.
Turned up real quick.
Said, "Please don't do this in front of Andrew."
That is
Bogusch family member?
That's a very awkward thing. Not necessarily flipping the bird, but like that situation when wife and mother-in-law are arguing, and you just got to be there.
Don't say a word.
Yeah, and then especially then when your wife is like, "Oh, don't do this in front of you," and you're like, "I'm just here to have a good time.
Go
do whatever you want."
EJ just starts singing when that happens. Why can't we be friends?
No, you just have to stay completely silent.
Yeah.
You can't. It's like getting in the middle of two dogs fighting or something. Just don't do it.
What always happens then, though, is then both ladies eventually go to you and they said, well, what do you think about this? And you don't give an opinion, then you're the one that looks like the jackass.
That's when I would just jump into the ocean. Hold that thought. I'm just going to go take a swim in the Atlantic.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. 45 seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
You know, we were talking about blue bloods and college football. Welcome to the show. Maggie Gray, Zach Gelb in for Andrew Perloff today. And Andy Staples, our pal from On3, had identified the college football blue blood, Zach. You know, Bama, Georgia, LSU, Michigan, goes on and on. I think about sometimes the blue bloods of the NFL. And some of the teams that we consider maybe put an elevated status on them, regardless of how much they've won lately, kind of like a blue blood of the NFL, the traditional teams in the NFL. And I think it starts with the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah.
And the second is either whoever you want to pick, either the Steelers or the Cowboys.
I think those are the only 3 blue bloods in the NFL.
And I ask you, who's actually living up to that name anymore in the NFL? I mean, the Packers, who haven't won a Super Bowl since 2011, so it's been a while, but at least like they are, you know, competitive, and it seems like they have a plan. And
no,
I could argue that it's been disappointing a bit in the playoffs, no doubt. But now they have Jordan Love, and it feels like it's breathed new life into this era. You know, the Cowboys, to me, are America's team in name only anymore. And Jerry Jones still being desperate, and so desperate for headlines that it comes at the expense of harmony in your football team, is like the most selfish move you can possibly pull. And now I wonder more and more about the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I said, you don't know me.
And do they really deserve to have this elevated status? Because this is a team that, yes, is consistently in the playoff mix, but hasn't won a playoff game in 8 years. Is that befitting and becoming of a team that has, you know, the amount of championships that they do? And the floundering at quarterback to the point where they were kind of waiting out Aaron Rodgers, and now it's going to be more of the Rodgers show. There's more to it. Cam Hayward now, one of their amazing veterans, 36 years old, is now threatening to possibly hold out. Here's Cam.
Looking for my contract to be addressed. Honestly looking to be valued. In my eyes, when I look around and, you know, at my position, I think I'm like, 22nd as a D-tackle. I'm 36 as a D lineman.
Yeah, well, you're 36. I understand it. There's more from Cam.
You know, I understand I signed a contract last year. But to be completely honest with you, when I signed that, I told him, you know, when I have an all-pro year, expecting me to come back. And you can look at the contract and see what it was, but, you know, I think everybody kind of giggled a little bit, but in my heads, I used it as motivation to go out there and prove it.
Okay, so this is Cam Hayward, who, you know, ironically had called out Aaron Rodgers for being too me first when he was deciding, like, hey, we're not going to recruit you to come to the Steelers. You either want to be here or you don't. Well, now I ask Cam Hayward, does he want to be here? Does he not? Because we're less than a month away from the season. Your team is clearly going for it with Rodgers. It's a go-for-it move. This is not, you don't bring in Rodgers to win 8 games or 9 games. You bring Rodgers in to win playoff games. That's the hope. That's the pie-in-the-sky hope. And it just feels more and more like the Steelers are just like everyone else. They don't deserve that blue blood status of the NFL anymore.
So I would say the Niners are blue blood too, just to throwing them in there. But to get to your point with the Steelers, they get the benefit of the doubt. And I think evaluating Mike Tomlin may be the toughest thing to do in sports, because you could do a lot worse, obviously, than Mike Tomlin. And I don't know how much better you can do. But like you said, we're talking about the Pittsburgh freaking Steelers. All right, this is not no offense to the Arizona Cardinals. This is not the Arizona Cardinals, right? This is the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is an organization synonymous with Super Bowls. They're tied for the most Super Bowls by a team in NFL history. And to not win a playoff game since the 2016 season, the coach is not doing his job. Now, I understand the coach has not had a quarterback in a while, and they're consistently in the playoffs, and he's never been below 500. If you were in Arizona, acceptable. You're in Pittsburgh. So in the next 2 years, I know he's under contract for 3 more seasons, but in the next 2 years, if he can't find the franchise quarterback or win a playoff game, Mike Tomlin can get fired. Like, I know it's been Noel and Cowher and Tomlin, but this idea that Tomlin can't get fired when Belichick was fired in New England and Andy Reid was fired in Philadelphia, to me, it's nonsense. It's hogwash that this guy can't get fired.
Well, the other part, too, is Tomlin, we know, enjoys, like, a lot of say over the roster. You know, especially number one is coaching staff. So, of course, like your head coach should be able to hire their own coaches. I hate when front office or ownership meddles and stuff like that. Your coach should hire their coaches. Would not fire Matt Canada, right? Their offensive coordinator, even though the ship felt like it was sinking because he didn't want it to seem like he was pushing the blame off to someone else, to the point where the owner had to get involved because the owner is the one who put out the statement after Canada was fired, basically saying this was my decision. But he does have this, like, you know, say over personnel. And so for them not having a quarterback and to kind of be, like waiting around for Aaron Rodgers, I think it definitely reflects on them. Now, will it work? Now, that's a different story. It's possible this could work, but, you know, they are actually kind of, I don't say relying on 36-year-old Cam Hayward, but he was definitely going to be a big piece of the puzzle. And now, like, if Tomlin is this great player's coach, you got to get your house in order here. You can't have a guy who is, I guess, threatened a year ago, hey, if I'm having all-pro season, I want you to rip my contract up. And then he makes good on it. As much as I clown Cam Ward because he looks like a hypocrite because he called out Rodgers, this is a Tomlin issue, right? Don't you have to and Omar Khan, I guess, but this is a Tomlin issue. You got to understand what's going on in your locker room.
And here's the fascinating part. And I don't think Cam Hayward is a drama guy, but this is a drama situation.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of drama in Pittsburgh, but Tomlin actually, to his credit, does a good job we don't usually see the drama. We do not care. Like when
we kind of knew George Pickens was a headache.
Okay, but that never really got to like an explosive level. You look at Antonio Brown. People killed the Steelers when they traded Antonio Brown. You didn't get enough back. And then a month in with the Raiders, people are like, oh, it's amazing how Tomlin kept all these things in-house. So when I look at the Steelers this year, if they don't win a playoff game, this is an absolute failure of a season because they're going all in, but they're going all in with these players that should be in a retirement home for crying out loud. You know, these guys have the ARP cards. So can the Steelers win a playoff game this year? That's the big question. And if you said to me, Zach, put your 401k on the line or the Steelers win a playoff game, I'm saying no, and that shows you how much the standard has fallen with the Steelers.
Yeah, and, you know, I wonder when you look back over some of, like, yes, Tomlin did a good job of keeping some of the biggest characters, head cases, whatever you want to say, maybe in check. But they also, like, you know, Le'Veon Bell sat out a whole year. Antonio Brown missed a game. Remember, he wouldn't show up for the game.
Call me Mr. Big Chest.
We kind of knew that things were falling apart there. You know, holding on to Big Ben for too long, not understanding that they needed to move on. And then when you finally do move on and you do want to take a flyer on a first-round quarterback, it's literally the guy in the building. I don't know. Are you blinded? Because Kenny Pickett obviously went to Pitt. Like, are you blinded a little bit by just having a guy who was in your backyard?
Did they? I know it's going to sound weird. Did they really take Kenny Pickett? Like, he fell to them in the draft. When I'm thinking of drafting a franchise quarterback, and this has been their problem. They're not bad enough to be picking in the top 10. I think they just kind of looked at it and they're like, all right, we like Kenny Pickett. We're not going to be aggressive and move up to get him. They really loved him. They would have done that. He fell to us, so we'll just take him. Okay. It doesn't seem as they ever identified, okay, we're going to draft our franchise quarterback or make a franchise quarterback move since Big Ben retired.
So this is where I started the conversation asking about NFL blue bloods, because we've been talking about college football blue bloods throughout the show. And I said, what's the one kind of the first team you think of when you think of blue blood? Green Bay Packers, right? They're not picking quarterbacks in the top 5, in the top 10.
They make it work.
somehow they found a way to identify talent and bring them along in a way that probably is frustrating or maddening sometimes for fans, but they get it. It's an ethos. It's a philosophy, and it's working. And if Jordan Love is in the MVP conversation this year, or if the Packers actually are a playoff team, they all look like geniuses. And by the way, it's been different guys. I mean, it's like a similar philosophy, but it's been different coaches. It's been different front office. Obviously, there's no owner. But like, if you're going to be considered that blue blood status of an NFL team, I can't just say, well, the Steelers, yes, they've had a lot of trouble moving on from Big Ben. A lot of teams do. But you know what? The other team that you get compared to most often, which is the Green Bay Packers, have found a way to find multiple franchise quarterbacks picking in the 20s.
And it also is a credit to the Packers, and it shows how much of an anomaly they are. Like, sure, you had Montana to Young with the 49ers. You've had Favre to Rodgers. But most of these teams, when you look at the Miami Dolphins, for example, they're still trying to find the answer to Dan Marino. The Buffalo Bills for years are trying to find the answer to Jim Kelly. Now you have it in Josh Allen, but even though Josh Allen, I think, is a better quarterback than Jim Kelly, it's, here we go again.
Go Bills.
Is this going to be a guy that doesn't win a ring? It is, earth-shattering take of the day. It's extremely tough to find that quarterback, and that's why I just marvel at what the Packers have been able to do.
I know, but I always put the Steelers on that same footing, and I don't think I can anymore, because you're right. The New Orleans Saints looking for their guy after Drew Brees. Obviously Derek Carr didn't work out the way they wanted. Manny's Giants looking for the guy after Eli.
Got him, Jaxson Dart.
Maybe this is it.
Couple of Ole Miss guys, you know what I mean?
Maybe this is it.
God, please.
It's not easy.
Honestly, I hope the Giants find their quarterback. Just so I don't have to see Manny just doing the woe is me and just complaining kind of stuff.
Fine.
Football stinks.
He's okay. 888-710-4ISM.
I'd rather see a happy Manny is what I'm saying than a miserable Manny.
710-4476. We all would.
I'm always miserable, bro.
Yeah, I know.
You need a hug. I'll give you one during the break, a big bear hug.
Do you still consider the Steelers a blue blood NFL team, or are they just like everybody else? Meanwhile, the college blue blood conversation has got people big mad. This is Andy Staples, who came up with a formula, or tried to identify who are the college football blue bloods. So he said you have to be top 15 winning percentage, minimum 750 games. You also have to have had finished at the top of a poll in any of the poll eras or the BCS / college football playoff era. So he came up with 12 different teams in college football that this would apply to: Alabama, FSU, Georgia, LSU, Michigan, Oklahoma, Miami, Notre Dame, Tennessee, Ohio State, Texas, and USC. Most notably, Nebraska and Penn State left off of this blue blood conversation. EJ, what stands out the most to you?
I was pleasantly surprised that Oregon was out of this conversation completely, because I think people like to put them in that blue blood conversation, but with no titles and them being kind of a product of Nike, it just feels weird. Maybe we're 20 years away from that. I feel like blue blood status is reserved for places where the coach isn't the only thing that makes them a blue blood, right? Like, I think that's why Alabama deserves to be there, right? 'Cause it's not just Bear, it's Nick Saban and everything else. It's not Notre Dame, it's not just Newt Rodney or Lou Holtz. It's everything that goes in it. Miami won with, literally 3 or 4 different coaches, right? Like with Penn State, I think the problem is if you're really going to run to when were they blue bloods, it's one guy.
Joe Pa, yeah.
Right. And to be honest, Florida State's on that list, but I also question Florida State. I'd put Florida over them because at least Florida won with Spurrier and Urban Meyer.
Right.
With Florida State, again, one guy, Bobby Bowden. I think if you're a one-guy
Jimbo
school,
Fisher won a national championship.
Yeah, has a one-off. I kind of not. It's a little different to me.
Do you consider LSU? So they've had 3 coaches win national championships since 2000.
Yeah, go Tigers.
I'll be honest. I don't have LSU as a blue blood. I think that they're a powerful school that has a lot of money, but did not much happen for them pre-2000. Like, this is a very new situation for LSU.
Like, I don't consider Florida State a blue blood anymore. I wouldn't throw LSU in there. I wouldn't even throw Georgia in there. Like, Georgia right now is the standard, but a blue blood?
Yeah, I don't. I to be honest, I did not have LSU and Georgia on my blue bloods, on the very good. But I wonder if you can actually distill this down. There's 4 no-doubters to me: Bama, Michigan, Notre Dame, and Ohio State. Then I think after that, your Texas, USC, however you want to break that down, and I guess Oklahoma. But I'm going to be honest with you. It feels weird not to have Nebraska on here because, to me, it's one of these things. Can you tell the history of college football without Nebraska? You cannot.
So, okay, and that's through the lens of you. And let me be a a full disclaimer.
That's fine.
I love Nebraska right now in the year of 2025.
We know your Temple connection to
guy.
Matt Rule.
Go Matt Rule, go Dylan Raiola. But for most of my lifetime,
yeah, it wasn't there.
Nebraska's been irrelevant. Now, their fans are great. I've been to games in Nebraska. The Runzas are unbelievable. It's a great food item. That's not me going to the bathroom, by the way, Manny. But in the last 20 years, what has Nebraska done?
Okay, but see, that's the thing about Blue Bloods. I think that once you achieve that status, I think it's no longer about anything that you've done lately. And maybe that's me. Maybe I'm wrong on that.
It's an iconic brand, but that brand right now, what meaning does it have to someone that, let's say, is 22 years old right now?
I think that's a good question because to me, that's how I think about it. It's like if I told a high schooler, hey, what do you think about going to play football in Nebraska? And if they say, what's that? You're not a blue blood. Like, to me, that's why I think Miami and USC stay. Because I think those schools still matter because they will point to, Reggie Bush. Like there are guys who are recent Hall of Famers, guys who are recent stars that played there. Yeah. With Nebraska, I think the Ndamukong Suh's not enough. Like, I think if you tell an 18-year-old, hey, man, you're going to get offered by Nebraska tomorrow, I think they'd be like, cool.
Okay. Well, but here's the thing, though, right? Like, I don't remember a time in this country when horse racing was the biggest sport, or boxing was the biggest sport. But I know it existed. I know who those people are. I know who was involved because even if I didn't witness it with my own eyes, I get that it was a thing that happened.
Legacy doesn't mean nothing.
That's kind of how I feel about Blue Bloods, right? Like, I can go to the College Football Hall of Fame, and I'm looking at old Michigan teams. And before Michigan won 2 years ago, I could understand that Michigan was a huge deal and why they deserved to be there. I guess that's Notre Dame was, not winning national titles, not winning national titles. We all know that what kind of status they have.
I actually wish I asked Andy this. Like, why not just do 5 teams? 12 teams to me.
Well, because he did a criteria.
That's the formula and all that stuff. That's too much. 12 team blue. That's like we're just giving out participation trophies. 5 teams: Bama, Michigan, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Texas. To me, those are the 5 brands in college football that I would say are the biggest blue bloods. That would just be me.
Or maybe there could be an inner circle blue blood. Like maybe that's the inner circle blue blood, and then you have the other teams where I think you consider them iconic, and you would say they're blue blood light, but maybe they're not as iconic.
It would kind of be like, I think it was Coach Prime who said this, there should be an elite part of the Hall of Fame fraternity or something like that.
Yeah, Inner Circle Hall of Fame.
Inner Circle Hall of Famers,
like
exactly.
even in VIP, and I know Maggie can relate to this because she's in VIP
I'm a red
circles
carpet
a
kind
lot.
of person. Yeah.
But there's VIP and then there's VIP.
Sure.
And here,
there's the all-access wristband.
This is a VIP list, but then I need a private room in the VIP list. On this. There's just too many teams.
Not to be confused with the champagne room, which you can just pay.
And the one that I think is being lost that I think kind of snuck in there, and I think ironically because some people are scared of their fans, but also I think because we kind of forget about them. I think Tennessee snuck in there in the back like, oh, thanks, Andy, bye-bye. I'm like, wait a minute, hold on.
Just up against the wall.
Yeah, I'm like, wait a minute. What have you guys done in a long time? And in terms of championships, like 98?
Yeah. You know what's funny? Did you know that Tennessee has a quarterback competition going on right now?
Oh, yeah.
Nico Iamaleava?
No, he's gone.
UCLA.
He's gone. And they brought the guy from UCLA, but he was from Appalachian State. I just assumed he was getting the job, but he's deadlocked in a quarterback battle.
It's a big year for Josh Heupel. I think is a really good coach. And when I say a big year, I'm not saying that like he's on the hot seat because I don't believe that.
Yeah.
But I look at Tennessee, we're going to really see how good of a coach Heupel is. Because now you don't have Nico Iamaleava, and there's a lot of question marks at that quarterback position, and you lost a lot last year, including Dylan Sampson. I'm just really curious. Like, if Tennessee this year has 9 wins, I would be praising Josh Heupel out of the wazoo this year.
888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. A little conversation there about blue bloods, both in the NFL and in college. Do you consider the Steelers, do they still have this elevated status of NFL blue blood?
No.
And then for college, who do you consider the blue bloods of college football? Okay, quickly, we will get more into what's going on with Alabama, their quarterback situation, and check in with Deion Sanders. It's Maggie Perloff Show. Zach Gelb is in for Perloff.
Got some jive. giant feet, they're the talk of the town. When she walks the sidewalk cracks, she's bringing buildings down. She tried to buy some shoes, but they said no way. Now she's wearing boat sails just to get through the day. Maggie's giant feet, they're a real big deal. Stepping on poles, creating legs for real. Maggie's giant feet, they make a mighty thud. But Maggie just laughs, hey, it's all in good fun. She went to a dance, cleared out the floor. Her feet made the music, folks yelled for more. At the beach, she's a hit, making giant sand castles. Her footprint's so big, they're like dinosaur battles. She went to a dance, cleared out the floor. Her feet made the music, folks yelled for more. At the beach, she's a hit, making giant sand castles. Her footprint's so big, they're like dinosaur battles. Maggie's giant feet, they're a real big deal. Stepping on puddles, creating legs for real. Maggie's giant feet, they make a mighty thud. But Maggie just laughs, hey, it's all in good fun. She went to a dance, cleared out the floor. So here's to Maggie and her feet so grand. She's the funniest girl in all the land. With her giant feet, she's never beat. Maggie's big feet make life so sweet. Oh, Maggie's big feet make life so sweet. Maggie's got some giant feet, they're the talk of the town.
This is Daly. I'm out here. And Cap, I think you're great. This is Daly. I'm out here. And Cap.
One minute, 30 seconds remaining. Remaining. "45 seconds remaining. Oh. 30 seconds remaining. "15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back. The Defensive Player of the Week is brought to you by Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Easiest one all year.
You're fully confident that
100%.
you guessed DJs?
Yep.
Incredibly pregnant pause after that.
The winner of this week's Defensive Player of the Week is going to be none other than Asia Wilson of the Las Vegas Aces, who turned in a 20-rebound game against Connecticut.
Yeah, but what if those were offensive rebounds?
They weren't. EJ, I think the Defensive Player of the Week is Asia Wilson. Zach, you want to give a guess and come in second place?
Sometimes you'd rather be lucky than good. And you could get lucky when you go up against Kyler Murray, who gifted Jaden Hicks an interception in the preseason.
Yeah, by the way, it clearly slipped out of his hands. Like, I saw people like, this is a cause for concern for Kyler Murray. I'm like, the ball slipped. No?
They'll fall for the Dove climbing rage bait. That's what because he's the one who posted that, right? Worst interception of all time.
Well, he said worst interception. Right. No, Dove put that on
Heartbreaking.
He's like an aggregator.
Loser.
He's an aggregator.
It's not even him anymore. He sold his account.
It's like a
I
conglomerate.
love it now. It's now become rage bait.
No, but Kyler Murray, clearly the ball slipped out of his hands.
Yeah,
No?
but Kyler Murray also has been very disappointing. So he kind of deserves that.
Okay.
That criticism when he has an interception
It was
like
a
that.
duck of a
Should have
ball.
played baseball, bro.
Anyway, who won it?
Okay, so Maggie, I wish I could say that your guarantee would be true, but it felt much like a 1990s Patrick Ewing guarantee where it did not.
Oh, boy.
Did you guys ever umpire when you were younger? Uh-oh. That ball is deep, profar, at the wall! He brought it back!
That's right. Because I got some heat for not giving the Braves their respect in the past, I've changed my ways, and Jaxson Profar is the Defensive Player of the Week on Saturday in Game 1 of Saturday's doubleheader against the Marlins. He made a spectacular, perhaps catch of the year at the wall, robbing Agustin Ramirez
Muy bien.
Of a solo home run. Incredible catch, great play. And I didn't want to hear any more like Braves slander or at least Braves bias that I have. So I'm giving Profar his respect. He wins Defensive Player of the Week this week.
Asia Wilson got hosed. Okay, let's go to
He
the
had 7
phones.
offensive rebounds, Maggie.
All right, well, she had 20 total rebounds. That's 13 defensive rebounds. Pretty good. Big Friendly on the line from California wants to make sure we're not sleeping on Jimmy G as a potential backup or the backup for Matthew Stafford. Good morning, Big Friendly.
Good morning, Maggie Malone, EJ the EP, Zackety Doodah, 411. Last in roll call, but first on everybody's mind. Manny Poppin' Bands, let me hold something, baby. Good morning, and thank you for taking my call.
I love this guy.
What do you got for us, Friendly?
All right, real quick, let me touch on the Shedeur Sanders before I do lawyering for the Rams and we come to the table. Shedeur Sanders is the best quarterback on the Browns roster. The reason why they hosed him in the draft had nothing to do with the interview. If we remember Dez Bryant, someone asked if his mom was a prostitute. Don't look into the interviews. They're hating on Sanders. Now, let's not stand on ceremony. Let's move forward. Maggie Malone, when I come to your table, I come with respect and I come with facts. Ask 411. Jimmy G has played in 2 NFC championships. He's lost one to the Rams. He's played in the Super Bowl. If you ask me, EJ, that's just if you ask me, he had a great team in Frisco. The coach is the problem. Why are we acting like Jimmy G doesn't have as good or not better team with the Rams like he had in Frisco? Maggie, talk about it.
Yeah. No, you're right. I mean, except for the fact that your number 2 receiver wanted him banished from the NFL, Devontae Adams, and they were playing together in Las Vegas. I mean, I kid, but Friendly, it's not about Jimmy G necessarily. It's about him staying healthy. Guy can't stay healthy anymore.
I love Big Friendly. And let me just preface it by saying,
you are Zackety Doodah now forever.
What he just did with those introductions, it was like Bruce Springsteen introducing the E Street Band. It was right on par with that. I can't stand Jimmy G. I can't
Friendly, you gonna
stand
take that?
him. Jimmy, this was the first debate I got him with Spike Eskin when he tried to tell me that Jimmy G should replace Tom Brady in New England, and I almost had a heart attack on the spot. And then in San Francisco, they should have won a Super Bowl the first time they played the Chiefs if he could just complete a pass over Chris Jones' head, and then he also had Emmanuel Sanders wide open, and he overthrew him. Like Jimmy, and he's a walking injury. So Stafford's hurt. You're going to go to Jimmy G, who then is probably going to get hurt. And remember when Tom Brady got suspended, Jimmy G got hurt, and they had to go to Jacoby Brissett, and the Patriots still won. So I don't think Jimmy G is really all that good, and I think he's been overrated for years.
Yeah, Big Friendly, you just walked into
Maggie
a big
Malone.
Patriots fan here with Zach
Real
Gell.
quick, before you let me go.
Go ahead.
Before you let me go.
You got it.
I'm not going to take that Zachy doodah. And the reason why Zach hates him, because Zach's a good-looking man, but then when Jimmy walks in, no one looks at Zach no more.
That's
Zach,
fine
you
with
are
me.
True.
Hey, you said I'm a good-looking man. I can understand when there's another good-looking man. Jimmy G walks into a room, and there's other good-looking women there. So whoever he doesn't want to take, I'm all good.
But real
Fine
quick,
with me.
he's bringing up old stuff. I agree with the injury, but the one thing I would only say that I would take the 4-1-1, if you look at all those games, the coaching slowed down at the end. And I'm going to let you guys go because I got to get to work. But I love you guys, and you guys have a great day.
Friendly, you're the best.
He's
Appreciate you
awesome.
weighing in. Zackety doodah. How did we not come up with that?
I don't know.
That's
Got to get
amazing.
Big Friendly on the payroll. We got a big budget for this show, I hear.
Yeah, I don't know who's starting those rumors. But
Not me.
Zackety doodah.
Can I get some of that big budget
I was
into
going
my
to say,
account?
where is it going?
And this will be Bogusch's last update of the day.
I mean, it might.
That'd be
It's a
411.
day-to-day thing.
You.
You're in the portal.
Bogety doodah, go ahead.
There is a grown man down the hall from us and a 14-year-old daughter in my house who are very excited about this news.
Such a nice color on you.
Yes, I know. It's the color of your eyes, sweetie.
Oh, my God.
That's why we match so well.
We're about to do a podcast.
Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce being sweet to most, annoying to Maggie. Tay-Tay will be on the New Heights podcast that premieres tomorrow night, but why?
So I wanted to show you something.
Okay. What do we got?
We got,
A briefcase.
yep,
Mint green with TS
Yep.
on it.
yep.
What's in it?
This is my brand new album, The Life of a Showgirl.
TS12!
Wait, was that screaming? Who put the screaming in? Was that Manny?
No, that was Jason
that's
Kelce's
Jason
raw
Kelce,
reaction.
1000%,
Yeah, no drops needed
So,
there.
so you've been going after Taylor Swift, which
I'm not going after anyone.
You're going after
going
that.
after. And
She's been a
writing her name.
non-believer from day
I
one.
just said, please don't have this be one elaborate scam to sell me crypto.
And let me just say, the views of Maggie Gray don't reflect the views of Zach Gelb. I don't want any smoke with the Swifties. But with that being said,
Way to be a foxhole guy.
Jason Kelce, I'll go after him. He's a man's man. Like, that's the definition of a man's man.
Mm-hmm.
His beard here, can you hold off on the dye, bro?
Oh.
Like, gray looks probably good. Like, on most men, gray looks good. I'm gray. I don't know if it looks good on me, but I don't need to basically put leather polish on polish on my cabeza. Whatever Jason Kelce's doing, too much beard dye. Too much.
Maybe he's getting his just for men like color tone correct.
Maybe that's a sponsorship they're trying to sell here.
Listen, if it works for Walt Frazier, it can work for them.
Yeah, I don't know. Too much beard dye.
For those of you scoring at home.
Like, look at Bogusch's beard.
He looks like a villain. That's how dark his beard is.
Bogusch has a great beard.
Hey, thanks.
And it has some gray in it. Looks good.
Yeah. It's got some like red in here too.
Don't you love when people point out your gray hairs?
I mean, it happens almost daily at my house.
But
So
gray looks good on you.
Zach's the least of my concerns.
Wait, who was the person who called in and thought Bogusch was like 60? Not that 60's old, but I'm just saying.
I don't remember.
Someone called in and like,
It wasn't a number, just that was the oldest person on the show.
No, it's like, I know
What are you,
Bogusch
38?
is older than me.
38.
And the person who called sounded like they were like in their 60s.
I also definitely come across younger than Perloff, don't I?
1,000%. It's not even close.
Okay, thank you.
And
we
they
don't
also
even-
think Gordon. Yeah, they think Damer is like your dad.
I'm more my older brother.
You and Perloff are kind of you like similar era of music though, so I think that's what puts you on par with him.
But I'm 45 years old. I don't care. Perloff won't tell us how old he is.
It's a secret.
Yeah.
He acts like he's 95, Perloff. He would do good in like Gerwin retirement homes.
We can confirm he's not 95.
No.
Okay.
It's
But is he
87.
45? Is he 55? Nobody knows.
Big secret.
I would
And
say
he just
50.
made my stuff look like shoe polish up there, man.
Higher or lower?
Not even guessing. He won't tell me.
You know how
I do not know. I hand to God, I do not know.
You don't have a guess?
Nope.
I'm going to go into the office after the show. I'm going to be like Jack Bauer in 24 and start interrogating Ryan Hurley and see what that age says in the contract. You start giving me answers, Hurley, or I'm cutting off your finger.
Go Birds.
I basically had to do like the biggest deep dive to try to figure out when his birthday was. And he's forbidden me from telling anybody.
Yeah. He's ageless.
Yeah.
One last Taylor Swift note, in case you care. This is album number 12. It was announced at 12/12 on the 12th day of August. And I believe we're getting the full reveal, track list, and release date tomorrow, which is the 13th, because that's her favorite number.
And I'll write your name. And I'm the problem here. Seriously,
You
guys.
remain the problem. But again, there's no mention of, a pots and pans set, no face creams, no matching robes, so you're probably going to be okay.
I thought they were going to try to sell us on a lifestyle brand. Or crypto.
One thing I'm worried about is no Jack Antonoff producing this album.
Oh, God, no.
Yeah, no, Jack Antonoff just he's done almost all the Taylor Swift albums, and he just did the last Kendrick album, which was phenomenal, but apparently she's working with Max Martin, who hasn't worked with her since Reputation.
Is this kind of like, okay. So they have worked together before.
Yeah, so if you like Reputation, this is probably going to sound more like that than other Taylor
Well, that was
stuff.
Bad Blood and all those was Reputation, right? Those were great songs. But this is like when a team loses both their offensive and defensive coordinator kind of thing.
Right.
It's like, what are they going to run?
Yeah, no,
I think she'll be fine.
Did Kendrick steal Jack Antonoff? What the hell?
I think Sabrina Carpenter might have.
Oh, maybe. Or maybe Jack's like, you know what? I need to spread my wings.
Like Eric Bieniemy got out of Kansas City. Patrick Mahomes is still a damn good quarterback. Taylor Swift will be fine.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think
Can
Jack
you
handed
handle
off.
the truth?
What's that?
Can you handle the truth?
Is that a lyric?
No, I'm just saying, can you handle the truth? Like if I tell you something, can you handle if it's the truth?
Are you about to tell me some bad news? You're looking at your phone, and I don't like where this is going.
According to Google,
Yeah.
Andrew Perloff.
No, don't say it. He will get mad. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, don't do
Can
it.
you show it to me?
Don't say it.
I'm not going to say his address.
Yeah.
That also comes up on Google.
Yeah, no, don't Google anything.
I would think that would be the top end of my guess.
No. We're not doing it. He's not here to defend himself.
61.
It'd be wrong. I thought you were about to tell me. I thought you were about to tell me that James Cook just got into a car and left for Georgia or something.
I got James Cook news for you.
What do you got?
Great segue.
James Cook is going to practice today.
Oh, yeah.
Now
Yippity-doo-dah.
we've already had Sean McDermott talk to reporters. He would not say that the hold in is over. They're going day by day, but they have had productive talks recently. He said at the time he expected Cook to practice. He's now practicing. So there you go.
And
Maggie's
he's
trying
changing his number
so
to
hard not to.
No, I was just thinking. I was like,
Go ahead, do a dance, chant, whatever you need. Put your Zubaz on.
is the prerequisite now for all Bills running backs? You should also be able to kick field goals.
You ever
That
jumped through a
threw
table?
me off. That threw me off
Ray
on
Davis
Saturday.
kicked a field goal in the preseason game. Why did he do that?
Well, apparently Tyler Bass is injured,
Yeah, I
but the Bills signed somebody on Friday, and then I see Ray Davis trotting out there for a PAT. I thought I had too many whiskeys.
He's a former Temple Alley. You got to do it all to make it in the league.
Oh, well, yeah.
I that was one thing I did not like from that game.
See, that originally came from Tyler Bass hitting a 60-yarder, beat the Dolphins, and you guys wonder why I have high blood pressure.
You celebrate like that?
It was a tough game.
You own the Dolphins. Be like me celebrating a win up against the Jets.
He hadn't been able to hit the ocean from the beach. It was more about Bass.
When
I think they're
And I
like
was on,
3-1 at this point.
I think I was at mile 10.
My best friend's last name is Bass. And when we were getting ready to go on his bachelor party, the Bills were playing the Chiefs in the playoff game where Bass missed the kick.
Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah, just reminding you. And he was going to order a Tyler Bass jersey if the kick went through, but then it didn't. So
Cool story.
Yeah, really. Hey, but you know what? They got a cool stadium coming next year.
Yeah.
Now they have a running back that can kick field goals. Whoopee.
And now
you
you
know
can't
what?
use the wind as the excuse.
And
'cause
guess
there's supposed
what?
to be no wind.
Buffalo, New York has the NFL MVP who is married to a superstar, and they had J.P. Lossman throwing the pigskin around that city. So good for Buffalo.
J.P. Lossman.
He is among the quarterbacks that I think of when I think of like any buster could be drafted in the first round. One of the first things I think of, J.P. Lossman.
Go
that
Bills.
guy.
More than
Tulane.
Jamarcus Russell?
No, because Jamarcus Russell was good at LSU. Like, he was like a star.
Right.
Like, J.P. Lossman felt like a computer-generated player. It was like, wait, this guy really is a first-round pick. Him and Kyle Bowler are the two guys. I'm like,
Bowler, though, could throw it 80 yards on his knees.
That's all
he was
they
like,
needed.
He was like a little Joe Milton, you know? Like, he
Yeah.
rocket, just didn't know where the hell the ball's
No,
going.
who was the guy who I think of is
E.J. Manuel?
No, thank you. Oh, what are we just going down the memory lane here?
Ryan Nassib?
Peterman.
No. The guy who played at the University of Washington who ended up being
Jake Locker.
Jake Locker.
Oh, with Tennessee.
That's like the holy trinity, I think, of like any buster could be a first-round pick. Those
It's like,
three guys.
what do we even remember about
Because they're just funny. Jamarcus, there's like a sadness to Jamarcus Russell.
Yes.
Like these guys are just like EJ said, they almost are not real people.
Yeah, real sad. He sits on $70 million now.
Well,
Yeah,
the whole
but
thing
still.
is, you think that you'd even, when you're a bust of a first-round pick, what's like the second best? You become a backup quarterback forever and make $1 million, like Mark Sanchez, or went to AFC Championship games and then just was a backup for 10 years. Like Blaine Gabbert, like you can make a life that's awesome for yourself, even if you were a bust.
I waited to ask you this question with 20 minutes left in the show and the last day that I'm sitting here, so I'm probably going to outwear my welcome. What's the most painful Bills loss of your life?
Back to Bogusch. Back to burn the whole place to the ground.
I heard that her favorite team lost to my favorite team in the Super Bowl. What happened there?
You weren't alive then.
That's right.
And that's
why I only heard of it.
Honestly, that's not even like. It is top 5. It's top
1. It's top 3, 2.
As
a tear rolls down her cheek.
Maggie's going to give you a middle finger in a second.
If we weren't on the live stream, it would have already happened.
Maggie's stutter right there sounded like the chopper pilot.
It wasn't that bad.
Are you still married? It's complicated. I've never wanted an update more than that chopper pilot and what's going on with this guy's marriage. Yes, Zach, all of them. All of them.
What's your favorite child? Same question.
Thurman losing his helmet?
Yes, it's true. I know. It's hard to believe.
They lost 4 Super Bowls?
In a row.
I hate you guys.
And then they gave him an arrowhead?
Yeah.
I hate you guys.
Go jump through a table, all right? That's what she's basically telling us right now.
Light yourselves on fire first. How about that? Do me a
Who's the
favor.
Pinto Ron guy that like sprays the ketchup and the mustard in your face?
Yeah. Interesting.
I
fellow.
hope that he sprays some Frank's Red Hot right in all of your eyes.
Get hit by a green, you know what?
Give me some blue cheese. It'd be delicious.
Smack you across the face.
Oh my goodness! Please break now.
All right.
Also, Perloff is 29 years old, according to Google.
Yeah. Add 30 years.
Yes, it's true. I know. It's hard to believe.
He's younger than Manny.
Yes, it's true. I know. It's hard to believe.
He's dating Jordan Hudson.
Up next.
I am legally married.
Yes, I am legally married. That's how you know your marriage is going
I am
awesome.
legally married.
Technically, legally, yes. Okay, we'll check in on Deion Sanders next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds.
Bogusch weeps. He's got the road trip blues. Left behind, feeling like he's bound to lose. Perloff's off to San Antonio. Can't believe his eyes. But Bogusch stuck at home. His heartache amplifies. Betting against my
At Lower Marion High, where Perloff was a nerd, Ernest was the football star, always being heard. But forget about the past, let's get to Pete, the guy who skips work like it's a track meet. Ernest Pendleton thought you were the king, but Perloff's the one who's doing his thing. Speaking of kings, let's talk about Pete, who never shows up, his presence is beat. Lottie's got a gift, it's called disappearing. When it's time for work, he's nowhere near it. I'm sick. At Lower Marion High, where Perloff was a nerd, Ernest was a football star, his name was heard. But fast forward now, who's the real is just a stare. Oh, Ernest Pendleton thought you were the king, but Burrow's the one who's doing his thing. And speaking of kings, let's talk about Pete, who never shows up, can't keep a seat. Well, Lottie's got a talent, it's hard to deny. From missing work like it's pie in the sky. He's the Houdini of the office space, gone without a trace, not a single face. Oh, Ernest Pendleton thought you were the king, but Burrow's the one who's doing his thing. And speaking of kings, let's...
Million for Manage for das Jahr with your home. Yes, big friendly.
Yes.
I love your poems and would love to go on a date with you. Million for Manage for das Jahr with your home.
Yo, big friendly, let me ask you something real quick. Why every bar you spit sound like naked night clips? You ancient bro, like turn the dial old. You probably smell like mothballs and mold. Talking about your swing like it still got charm, but every woman just runs from your cologne alarm. Out here begging them to get a whiff. That ain't gay, man, it's a red flag gift. You keep name dropping Miss Aces like she a godsend, but she couldn't teach you to flow past the weekend. 3 years of poems, congrats on the haikus. Now go write one titled Why I Always Lose. You think you got depth, you just stuck in a loop. AI came in, now you looking like a white.
I'm sorry, Andrew Kaplan. I got a little out of control. I'm sorry, Andrew Kaplan. I got a little out of control. I'm sorry, Andrew Kaplan. I got a...
Dailies in a chat, flowing out doubt, saying my stream skills are playing tricks now. Shotguns glitching, Ryan's cutting out. Chefing most frozen with the pixelated shout. But Maggie and Perloff, smooth as can be. Crystal clear feed, perfect HD. Now they're asking, is it sabotage? Or just a case of technical mirage? Blame it on Kaplan, yeah, go ahead. Sam pulling wires while the lights go red. But if it's true, then answer me this. What's the light?
.30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie's jamming out for this.
Mark your calendars. Taylor Swift making an appearance on the Kelsey Brothers podcast. Because goodness knows they don't get enough publicity. Give them a little shout out there. Let's get to Daily Deion.
Daily.
Do you believe that?
Deion.
You believe that?
Another person not lacking for clicks, Deion Sanders. Okay, this one was funny, though, and Zach Gelb is in for Perloff today. Here is Shilo Sanders, explaining why he's not giving his father the jersey from his first preseason game. You'll remember Shilo was an undrafted free agent signed by the Tampa Bay Bucks.
He didn't want it. Why? Because, he's a Hall of Famer. He expects like 30 times more. He didn't want that jersey. I'm going to give it to my mom, though. No way.
Not even as a birthday gift.
Nah, you don't want it.
No?
I got to get like 3 picks or something for him to...
Oh, my goodness. That is some tough love.
Don't forget, I had 2 sons, right?
You have 3, Coach. Jenna Lane from ESPN is the woman's voice you heard there. So
What about Shilo?
Deion's constantly telling us, don't forget about Shilo, Zach. Then Shilo does have a big play in the preseason game. Looks like he's doing okay. Maybe might make the 53. I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, Todd Bowles was extremely complimentary of him. But when I'm listening to this and Shiloh's answer, like we look at the Manning family.
Yeah.
And clearly to be accepted in that family, you need a Hall of Fame jacket and 1 Super Bowl ring. Like, right? That's what we're holding Arch to.
To be accepted. That's funny.
What do you think Coach Prime needs from his sons for him to accept them?
Well,
and let's not forget Shilo.
Shilo, apparently we're all not supposed to forget about Shilo. Shilo does something good in the preseason game, but that's not good enough. He will not give Deion, or Deion won't accept the jersey. It's an interesting parenting technique to constantly keep your kids in a depth chart.
He ranks them all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like in my family, I know I'm number 1, so it's not really that difficult. My sister, she's buried in the bottom of the depth chart, but in this case, I like that Coach Prime, because a lot of people that tap dance around this.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't have all my children. I like how he has a depth chart.
Yeah.
You may not like the results, like in Cleveland. We don't like the results right now with Shedeur Sanders being 4th, but at least there's a depth chart. At least you know where you stand.
I wonder if Shedeur is also 4th currently on Deion's personal depth chart.
I think he did it the other day, and I think it's either 2 or 3, I want to say.
Tough family. Would you like to be ranked by your parents? I was bummed about this one. You know, listen, different parenting styles. You do you, Deion. But I was bummed about this one that he wouldn't accept Shiloh's jersey as a gift because he didn't do enough in the preseason game. It's like, oh, but that's just me.
I just want Dad to love me is pretty much what Shiloh's saying.
I'm part of the participation era. So I think once you make it to the NFL, that's pretty cool. I'll take the jersey. He said his mom will take it.
Yeah. That's my adult. I belong to him.
There you go. That's your daily Deion for today. EJ, I don't think we have enough time to do our college football teams. Come on, sneak them in real fast.
Just want to do it real fast here.
Yeah, let's do it.
3 minutes.
Let's do it. We're going through college football teams 4 at a time. What would a successful season look like for these 4 teams? And let's get it started, EJ. Who's number 1?
Yeah, let's go rapid fire here. Alabama. Successful season for the Crimson Tide.
Okay, so Ty Simpson wins the quarterback battle. Not that shocking. 9-4 last year. Got to be a college football playoff appearance this year for Alabama. And on top of that, no bad losses. Cannot slip up against Vandy. Can't slip up against a team like Oklahoma was bad last year. It's got to be college football playoff, Zach, and no bad losses.
Win a college football playoff game. That's what I think they need to do this year. There is an incredibly high standard. That may not be good for some people, even if they just win a college football playoff game. They have the ability to go all the way this year, especially with their defense. I think Ty Simpson will be better than what people expect. Win a college football playoff game for me.
Let's go to the ACC. How about the Pitt Panthers? A successful season for them.
I'm going to say 8 wins. The ACC is fighting for the Big 12 to be the 3rd best conference in college football. I like their quarterback. Narduzzi, I do believe, is an underrated coach. If Pitt gives me 8 wins this year, I don't know how you could be all that upset.
Successful season, I'm not expecting a lot, even with Eli Holstein there. 3 new additions on the offensive line. Just hasn't been awesome. They start off 7-0, finish the year 0-6. Like, this isn't the launch point to a great season. I'm going bowl eligible. That's about what I'm expecting.
How about Kirk Cignetti's crew, Indiana Hoosiers? A successful season for the Hoosiers would be?
Man, you can't fall off the table here. You just can't fall off a cliff. That would be my expectation in a successful season. Doesn't have to be college football playoff, but has to be 8 or 9 wins is what I would say. And it's going to be tough because I think that it has to be, let's go 9-3. That would be successful. Playing Illinois, you're playing at Oregon, you're playing at Penn State. I think if you lose all 3 of those games, I don't think they're running you out of town. So 9-3.
Yeah, and the first 3 games of the season are absolute cupcakes because he's taking the SEC approach to scheduling. My standard was 9 wins. You get 9 wins, even if you don't make the college football playoff. I don't know how people could really troll Indiana for that.
And last, let's go to the Big 12. A lot of money coming into this program. So new money. Texas Tech, a successful season for the Red Raiders would be?
Make the college football playoff. You know, I think they could win their conference. I don't think they are necessarily the sexy pick. That's Arizona State. But if Arizona State doesn't win it, I like Joey McGuire a lot. You go make college football playoff. I think that'd be a really successful season.
Yeah, 8-5 last year. If not now, when? I mean, I think that's what everyone's going to be asking with Texas Tech. They got a huge new football facility.
A lot of money.
2 new coordinators, I believe. 3 new offensive linemen. It's all about new change, except for the quarterback who's back, Baron Morton. college football playoff. I'm putting it right there with you. It's the Big 12. This is a winnable conference. And even if you come in second place, you're going to the college football playoff.
Yeah, and you look at a 12-team playoff format. You know, if Texas Tech missed a 14 college football playoff, no one's complaining. Of
course not.
Like now you look at Ole Miss with Lane Kiffin, Lincoln Riley with USC, Brian Kelly with the LSU Tigers. I don't think people are going to crush Joey McGuire if he doesn't necessarily make the college football playoff, but those other coaches in a 12-team playoff, you almost have to make it now or it's even more embarrassing.
I'm here with my family.
Oh, man. All right, there you go. 4 college football teams.
Yeah, go Tigers.
He should be back coaching college.
Who gets a college job first? Again, Jimbo Fisher, Ed Orgeron. 2 guys who won national championships.
Oh, Jimbo Fisher. Ed Orgeron, I have gone out with him one night at a same party. I don't think that dude's looking to come back to coach it anytime soon.
Did he keep a shirt on?
That dude is on the prowl, if you know what I'm saying. Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
Looking for Cougars.
Oh, boy. And that's unfortunate where we're going to have to leave it. Thank you, Zach. It's been phenomenal hosting with you the last 2 days. Thank you for getting up early with us. Thank you, EJ Stewart, Manny Rodriguez. Great to have you back. Thank you to Andrew Bogusch, Andrew Kaplan. Cannot do it without you guys. The Weedos, the coffee drinkers. Have yourself a great Tuesday.
And I'll write your name.
You're in a 5-minute break.